Another live stream here on the twitch.tv slash the Xisuma. Today it's a special. We're also live on TikTok and on YouTube. It is Boxing Day. The day after Christmas. The boxing, as I apparently once trolled Scar, is not related to actually boxing with other humans. It is all the boxes left over from all the new stuff that you got on Christmas. That's why they call it Boxing Day over here. Let me sit down. Whew. Been busy all morning. It's the usual, going through my routine. I went for a run. I've had something to eat. Now we sit down to stream. And Joe is on the server. I had this feeling it was going to be absolutely dead. And I saw that both XB and Joe were streaming on Boxing Day. Yeah, Boxing Day indeed. I don't know what they make of that. Also, these chests, right? I just off the top of my head. Oh right, yeah. People over here tend to say Merry Christmas after a little bit as well. These, off the top of my head, I would have thought these are here on Christmas Day and the day before, but it's also here on the day after. Just spotted that right now. You've installed Twitch so you can watch you properly instead of on TikTok, says LD, or ID even, I'm not sure. Well, welcome to Twitch. I'm assuming you're using an app. I would be using a web browser if I were watching Twitch. It'd be more like visiting a web page. But you youngins today in your apps on your phones. Oh gosh, I'm old. I'm old. So yeah, we've been over here working on this project, and we're just gonna continue. I feel like it's just gonna be another stream of like grinding and talking, and I don't know. Maybe we'll go off track a little bit and do a couple of other things. But I kind of like the idea of getting more of the warehouse in shape. You know, let's drop off some supplies. As you can see, I've barely done anything since the last stream. As after I streamed last, I headed out to enjoy Christmas, and now I'm back after Christmas, and we're back on here doing this. In Sweden, Christmas is really the 24th to the 26th of December. That's kind of like what it is here, but in some of the European countries, Christmas Day is actually just a different day. Yo, Lorax Trifula, thank you so much for 23 months. Happy Boxing Day. I hope your holidays were lovely. Thanks for being so entertaining. Thank you for your lovely message. They were indeed. It was indeed a lovely Christmas. The title of the stream, as you may see it, is Boxing Day Blues. I feel like my blues have actually gone away a fair bit now that we're back here in the groove doing something familiar and just enjoying a little bit of our favorite game, right? And hanging out. But I always struggle with the post-Christmas blues, and I can, after many years of going through it, can quite easily explain why I get that. I can explain it to myself. I can explain it to all of y'all. But it's all in all, it's because you have such a great time, and it's like the come down after, you know. That's kind of it. Anyway, I hope y'all had amazing Christmases. Lots of y'all saying happy birthday. Sorry, happy birthday. Yeah, there's a few happy birthdays in there. There's happy Boxing Days. There's happy Christmas. Boxing Day is weird, says the Skizzleman Thang. Can you elaborate? What makes it weird? After Laughter, thank you so much for 2 months of support. And we got Quills Dipped over here doing a super chat on the YouTube. Thank you for being amazing. The Hermit Cruise got me through some aggressively bad times. Kept me going in an abusive home to fighting against the system to get disability support. Y'all saved my life without a doubt. Dude, I'm sorry to hear about your struggles, and I'm glad that we've been of help in some way. You know, we do our thing, you do your thing. I often say when people send messages like that it's more you than us, trust me. Like, I think people find something to help them get through, you know? And the world is full of people, you know, doing things where we help one another like that. But you got to remember, it's you that got through it, not us. You got yourself through it. You don't know anything about it, that's why it's weird. Okay, so it's just a term for having lots of boxes after Christmas from all your presents. And then you tend to, like, the day after, everyone moves around, packages up their boxes, take things home, and they just call it Boxing Day. I bet there's a more in-depth, interesting explanation of that out there somewhere. Anyway, if you're a regular around here and you happen to know it's the beginning of the stream, you'll know this is the bit where I just sit here and drink my tea and warm up my hands. The time where I am is 20 to 3. Why don't I change my height down to half the size to prank the other hermits? That's actually, I know what you're getting at. That's actually an amazing idea. Oh my god, that's such a cool idea. I like, the whole copper thing's coming to an end. Maybe I can squeeze something in with that. Let me write that on my notes, because I've got like a bunch of notes for what I'm going to do in my return episode. And currently I don't know what it's going to be, because it's looking like I'm not going to figure out this coral farm thing. I still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. Anyway, I made a note. I might have time to do that. We'll see. Mr. Purple says, very nice day for a stream. That it is. That it is. Hey, X, here we celebrate Christmas in September. Where do they celebrate Christmas in September? That's crazy. It's called Boxing Day because rich people actually had to move out with their boxes as their maids were on holiday and celebrating the day after Boxing Day with their families. So they had to, why would they have to move out? Because their maids were on holidays celebrating the day after. So the maids get the day after off. That makes sense. They have Christmas first, the maids after. But like, what's that got to do with them moving out with boxes? That's what I don't get. You're eating all of your chocolate right now, says Silly Snail. Don't eat it all in one go. Don't eat it all in one go. I've had my fill of chocolate. I didn't eat a lot. I didn't eat a lot of treats. I had big meals with some dessert and then a few chocolates to follow after. But I didn't go crazy at all. I don't need to do that anymore. It's not my thing. What is a great kind of tea for beginner drinkers? Just go get yourself some English breakfast. Why did I feel so wrong when I said it? No, that's the one. There's everyday English breakfast and a Sam. They're like my three main go-tos, but English breakfast is a classic. Honestly, I'm so happy to see you streaming right now, X. Things have been rough around this year's holiday, and honestly, your streams are helping me with keeping myself together, says Pest. Glad I can help in some way. As I said a moment ago, it's more you than me, believe that. It's more you than me. You're the one pulling it together, dude. What's my favourite dad joke? My favourite dad joke at the moment has got to be, where do naughty rainbows go? Let's see if chat knows the answer. Where do naughty rainbows go? Cheese Girl says prism. I love the idea of someone like figuring that out and being like, oh my god, I got it. Angel in the corner says, does X read comments in TikTok? I do not. I do not. It's a light sentence. Oh my god, level it up. Level it up. I love that. Yo, Jewish231. Thank you ever so much for 3 months of support. Much appreciated, my dude. Thank you, thank you. That's great. It's a light sentence. I love that. That's like leveling it up. You thought Boxing Days were where apprentice and master switch roles for the day, or more modern, the intern becomes the boss for the day, and the boss works as the intern. I imagine that's like a business thing that it's smart to do on occasion to like reverse roles and understand how to better work together. But I don't know. I don't think it's related to Christmas Boxing Day. By the way, I've been looking at this wall and I'm thinking, I feel like we want a third level behind it, and that would probably be the top level. So, like, is there like a dark grey wall that we could put in there? Which would... Oh, I didn't actually take it out, did I? It'd probably be this one. Gels the Bells. Thank you so much for 10 months. Favorite dad joke at the moment has to be this one. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. That's a great one. That's a great one. I like that. We got Anonymous gifting subs. Thank you so much for supporting our community. Sundry Tomato, Joe Poe, Extra Sleeps, M. De Blur, and the Wizard of July. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. Appreciate your generosity, Anonymous. And Ice Poor Lover coming in with cheers and biddies. Is Boxing Day where you box up all your gifts to return them? I mean, not to return them, to take them home was the idea, but maybe that's a part of it too, right? Like, you know, sometimes you give gifts, but you keep receipts just in case. So I'm thinking that that is slightly darker than the andesite, but not by much. Like, that's probably the next grade over. That's what's concerning me. If I do this, we can remind ourselves of all the available blocks. So that one I think is a little closer to this, but there isn't... I think tough might be an in-between, but we're already using those blocks. Unless we go black after... Oh, there you go. That's what we'll do. We'll go black after. I might even swap out andesite for this. I think andesite is like a shade lighter, which is possibly not exactly necessary. Introduces a different texture. It's kind of like not a natural block texture. What do I mean by natural block? You know, the andesite looks like, you know, bricks are formed. There's a process there, and the whole rest of the structure is like that. But I think I actually just prefer the andesite more, to be frank. So, andesite, then deep slate, and then blackstone. I forgot about blackstone. Black as my soul. Black as my soul stone. Yo, Bukia 105, thank you for the cheers and biddies. Much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream, having a good time. Is that actually the right block? Is that actually the right block? I think... No, I got gilded. I think that's just one extra slot that I put there by mistake, maybe. But anyway, you would like a lot of this stuff all hooked up. And goodness me, again, my dude, Power Buzz, you're an absolute mad lad. What is going on? Gifted subs again. Peeps, be sure to say thanks in the chat. Hermione Luna, Pravin, GHXS, Trevina, Kiara, Krivizzi? I'm doing my best, people. TRP, JRBDBC, Joavine, and Combatants. Absolutely butchering a few of those names, there's no doubt about it. Powerboss, thank you for your continued generosity, my dude. You do too much, I appreciate you. Bukia says you're the first streamer I'm watching. Well, welcome. Did I just read your name ago a second? Like, that just... Oh, the cheers and the biddies. That was it. Thank you so much. Everstory, good to see you in chat. Good to see you. Right, so we're going to create an extra space here for the next layer. So we're going to go 3 high. Well, I was trying to build a staircase up. And I didn't get very far because I fell down. There was a gap. So we're going to come up to this height for the final bit. So we've got those blocks, and I didn't make them into walls. Absolute certified genius over here. And I need a block in the middle. Like, what if I made it gilded blackstone? I'm not going to do that. Because then I'll be, like, just pointlessly out there. Trying to get more of that stuff. I kind of wish there was a crafting recipe for it, to be fair. I think that would be good. Right, so we'll take that. So we're going to go up there and introduce these two next. That'll work, that'll work. What are we making? So we're just doing like a nice simple hang out and chat project where I don't have to think too much, you know. A lot of the time I try and do stuff on stream where you have to do a lot of thinking, and that ends up with, you know, me looking like a bit of an idiot most of the time. And not the best conversation. So what we're going to do today is just a little bit of relaxed kind of simple grinding. The grinding being the creation of the warehouse. We're just chipping away at this slowly. It won't be all walls and stuff though. I want to kind of get some of those farms in place. So part of the idea of having this layout is that you could maybe open up a section in the wall and put a little farm tucked off to the side. So I kind of wanted to do a little bit of that, put all the concepts in. What farm? Any type of farm, really. You never look like an idiot, X, says Ted Ricky. Ted, you have not been watching for long enough. This is clearly your first stream. Ah, not that one. Not that one there. We'll take that one back. Whoops. Don't want to be breaking the ceiling just yet. Do I make my own animations? No, I do not. The Puka makes them and does an incredible job with them. They're really good fun. Riff Raff says, "Is one of your favorite things to do in Minecraft is build walls? Is that strange?" I don't think so. Do you know what? I like building them. I think what I like about it is that they are necessary and simple. A lot of projects involve needing a wall at some point, and they kind of alleviate all of that creative pressure, and you just do something simple. And I think that's what's nice about them. Right, well, we'll do a couple more segments up here, but then I have to go fish out some more blackstone from somewhere, so won't be doing that straight away. Yo, Bucky B, thank you ever so much for subscribing. Appreciate it. What am I drinking? Just some tea. It's pretty much gone, though. What you're doing with the mob AI is so unique. You've never seen anyone use them like that before, says Derek Maniac. Thanks, my dude. Yeah, it's kind of a different approach, right? It's not technically what they were put in the game for, but I think it's what the game needs, actually. I've been really loving all this buildstone stuff that's been going on. And I think it just highlights that there's, like, perhaps a new branch of the game emerging where people want to have their Minecraft worlds and builds feel a little more animated and alive. And I think Mojang could introduce some features and snapshots, maybe add stuff to old blocks or introduce new things entirely that could help us do that a lot more, you know? Okay, let's I mean, you know, I don't actually want too many light sources back here because they go through, and that means that the wall is going to look, yeah, you can see the light coming through, right? Which might not be the worst thing once the roof's in place. It might look kind of cool to have that sort of changing. It's curious to say the least. But yeah, the ceiling, whenever that comes into play, that's going to be a thing. You're drowning yourself in too much pasta as always, but it's nice to have you as some background noise. Drowning in pasta. Everstory says, your copper golem stuff has been so inspiring. I'm planning to try to get them wandering on my base. Well, hopefully I've given you the tips that you need to do it. There should be some good stuff there. Yo, we got Mrs. Redtail coming in with a donation saying, first time dono, long overdue, is tremendous thanks for keeping Hermitcraft alive all this time. I'm so grateful to have found the wholesome community. Well, thank you for your generosity. I'm glad you enjoy Hermitcraft. I very much appreciate the dono, and I hope you have a good time hanging out with us today. Mrs. Redtail the goat, says Skizzleman fan. There you go. The goat. Yeah, more than happy to do what I do for Hermitcraft, believe me. I'm incredibly lucky to be a part of it, and just want to do my absolute best to help out in whatever way I can, you know? And let us now... We actually... I think we actually have to go mining to get andesite, if I'm not mistaken, at some point. Alright, let's try and use up blocks that I've got lying around in my inventory. But also, I kind of want to grab just one or two more. Just a couple, nothing crazy. That stuff I want more of. Yeah, let's try and use this up and get the whole thing. Oh yeah, lodestones as well. We still got them. We still got them. I think if we're gonna try and do some farms today, I think getting the cactus farm, since it's already here, and that thing moved, that would be a good idea. Let's try and actually clean up the area too, because it's still a bit of a. Ooh, I've just noticed something with the allays. 4 there, 1 here, 1 has escaped. The leads can break. I should probably put them inside of a glass cage at some point. Where the allay has gone, I do not know. If you spot it at any point in the stream, be sure to let me know. I think I'd like to make a little bit more of the lodestone, actually, because we got lots of iron in our inventory. We could probably get the trim going the whole way around, nice and easy. Shouldn't be too much of a bother, that. Sentinel Slice, welcome! Welcome to the stream. It's been a long time since you watched a video. Well, if ever you wanted to get back into it, I think you'd find my my latest season of Hermitcraft to have a very interesting start and end point so far, as we've just concluded the Copper Arc, doing all sorts of... That's not how that works. All sorts of interesting projects with the Copper Golems. Still might do a couple more, you know? I don't know. Got lots of ideas. When I come back, though, I'm not going to rush myself into doing anything in particular. I think I'm just going to play and figure it out. Trying to ditch the old ways of making episodes, you know? I'm trying to find like a new approach to it, and so far it's been really good. That rhymed. I may occasionally rhyme. When you say a lot of words, that can happen. Justice for the baby cow. The baby cow has gone missing. It's really quite sad. I need to take some time to locate it. You notice most of the hermits don't have intro music this season. Maybe there's a reason. Mine was just wanting to make a change. Like, I've experimented over time with putting music into my episodes and not. I do think they actually benefit from having music in. But it's like this other layer of editing that I kind of don't want to think about too much. Plus, you end up using a lot of the same music over the years. And my season is going to be music themed. So what I did is I actually made a new intro jingle / song that I did myself. But then when it came to putting it into the episodes at the beginning of the season, it just didn't feel like it would sit there well until I explained it. So I decided just not to use it, essentially. I was just like, well, I think I'm just gonna give it a miss, actually. Can you hear it? I'm sure you'll hear it at some point in the season, because we're going to do loads of musical stuff later on. But as of right now, I just decided not to go with it. Right, actually, I want to focus my efforts on the other side. Can we hear the jingle? I'll say it again. There'll be a point in the season, I'm sure, where I'll share it, but I just didn't. You know, maybe when the music arc like officially kicks off, maybe then we'll have intro music of that type. But it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't really say much about the Copper Golem arc, and I kind of didn't want to like start off my season talking about music stuff as well. And like that'll come later on, and it will. Sing it. It's not that kind of jingle. It's just like a bunch of melodies and cool aesthetics. It is just born out of some experimentation that I did with like finding interesting sounds that fit together and then jamming with them and creating some melodies and stuff. It's really easy to do that. It's really easy to like jam, create like a couple of cool melodies, and then it's really hard to like turn that into a song where you've got progressions and bits that come and go and reoccur, you know, the whole kind of chorus and verse structure. It's really hard to do that. So it's very easy to make like little jingles that could be an intro to something, but a lot harder to turn that into a full song. That's why I ended up making the jingles, because it's just one of the little experiments that sounded really good. And I was like, yeah, I like that. I'll use that for something. Am I going to do any note block music? Yep. There's lots of stuff in the works. It's just one of those wait and see kind of things, you know. There'll be lots of interesting stuff done with music this season. How long did it take to make? I don't know. Like when I do music stuff, I'm not really like keeping track of time. I'm just having fun, like experimenting, throwing sounds together, and then you end up with like a palette, and then you just start to improvise and jam on the palette every now and then. And some days you open up one palette and it clicks and you start making stuff, and some days it's a different palette, and some days there's nothing at all. Just you just kind of, it's all very freeform. Your family listens to a lot of Slipknot music that you do covers for. So when I show them the videos, they don't believe you're the same Minecraft YouTuber that you watch. Prejudiced against Minecraft tubers. As if we can't enjoy a little bit of heavy metal. What's up with that, eh? What's up with that? You know? Minecraft is like death metal too. Believe me. Am I going to sell music installations in other Hermit's games? I mean, I could do. The thing is, it's like, it's hard to write on demand is what I find. I'm not a kind of like hire a musician guy, right? Like everything musical is very like of the moment for me. I do it at my own pace. I do it when I feel like, and I do it for myself. I don't know how to do it for other people. So I don't think it's going to work in that capacity at all. What do we want to do next? I kind of want to do a little bit more copper placing. I feel like here you go. I was about to say, I've like lost track of some stuff. Let's get like the last of this together. I'm gonna put away more blocks now. We're gonna try not to distract ourselves and knuckle down a little bit more. We're not doing the stone brick walls, so they can go away. We need to get some more andesite. We know that. And then the tough blocks still can go in place. But yeah, clean inventory just lets you know where you're heading with all that you're doing. Is it possible to write news with the lodestones using that creative wand? I don't think it is. I don't think it is because it's directional based and the lodestone doesn't have the block properties to be rotated. What is Love version 2 going to happen? No, I've done that. I don't want to repeat that. Do not want to repeat that. A lot of it's going to be quite redstone heavy as well. Like, again, I gotta kind of do it in a way where I can like teach you concepts about music and redstone. That's another part of it as well. I want to use it as like a vehicle to teach a little bit of music theory. I feel like music theory often seems quite intimidating, but it's one of those things where like you can just learn a little bit of it, like a tiny bit, like an easy bit, and it'll be useful. So like, why not like, let's not shy away from it, you know, let's take the opportunity to learn. That's kind of my attitude with it. If I had a dispenser with an axe in it, you know what, I can see it already not being good. Like, I place the block, it scrapes, I break the block. There might be some sort of like hold right click, hold left click mechanism that works for that, but then I don't want this thing to get scraped too much. You know what, it might actually be possible. The more I think about it. Right, let's actually save some and see if we can make a block scraping station. Then I don't have to do all this like laying it out and scraping it manually stuff. Rocket scientists reassure their students by saying it's not music theory. that actually sounds legit. That actually sounds like something they would say, because rocket science is like, you know, you want things to be certain. You ain't got room for like fuzziness, whereas music theory, although it's about like asserting some understanding of what's going on over music, music is still very much a creative endeavor. Don't get distracted. I feel like it's a mild welcome distraction. It'll be a quick thing. Quick little fun thing to do. Let's just clear out a little bit of space off grid, off this factory grid, because I don't know if I want to keep this or not. Plus, it'll probably be a small thing we chuck into a wall. But I reckon I'm going to need some sticks to go with my iron, that's for sure. Brown for logs. So, like, let's make a bunch of axes. I mean, just one for now. Don't go crazy. We'll need a dispenser, which I'm a little short on. A observer. And then possibly as little as that. Like, that might be it. So, dispenser. We'll move you forward a block. Observer here. And then the redstone just goes like that. So in goes the axe. No? They do scrape, don't they? I'm sure they scraped blocks. No, they scrape logs. They never added it for copper. It's a log thing, isn't it? It's not for copper blocks. Oh, that's it. Do you know what? They should make that a thing. Why not? It works for the same functionality on a log block. It's log blocks that do that. I just remembered. Yeah, possibly a missed opportunity there. You would have to consider, like, if it could be taken advantage of. And I'm thinking about it for 5 seconds, right? I'm not sure there's a loophole here or something that makes you go, let's use that to exploit the tech tree. But, if you were going to add it, you should do some proper thought and investigation into that, right? It shouldn't just be done nilly-willy. Willy-nilly? Nilly-willy? What's a nilly-willy? Jeez, I don't know. Words are difficult. Let's fill out more of this. Try logs. Don't think it does. I'm pretty sure logs do. Pretty sure it's logs that do it. Now chat wants to know if we can. I'm pretty sure. Like, I 100% remember this being a feature, right? This is a feature. It's just a case of what it's a feature for. I don't think there's anything else, right? What am I thinking of? Maybe it was something to do with honeycomb. Maybe... I'm sure... Excuse me. I'm sure I remember doing a snapshot on this being added. Like, maybe it's honeycomb and shears... But shears isn't for a... I'm sure it's something for a regular block. Apparently there's nothing about it on the wiki. I'm not thinking about a mod. I'm thinking about a snapshot. I'm sure I remember them adding this and building a little contraption with it. You can wax them. Maybe it was just wax on. We definitely tested... What if I accidentally put down the wrong block in front of it and didn't realize? Like, what if it was wax on, wax off? So, like, there's one that's wax. Let's double check that. Just in case I made some sort of silly mistake there. I am so sure that it was something you could do with an axe. April Fool's thing. You know what? You know what it might have been? It might have been, they do add stuff into the April Fool's snapshots to test run features. It's possible. It's entirely possible. And you know what? Feels a little bit lame that I can't do that now. Feels a little bit lame. NGL. NGL. Let's tidy up this inventory a little bit more. Wait, what the heck just happened there? Didn't I pull out a bundle to, like, put those in their own thing. Whatever. Whatever. Let's stop doing inventory management. Let's play some blocks. We got Skinny Jam X coming in with the Prime and a Drunk Corgi with the Prime as well. Thank you to the both of you for using those Prime subscriptions. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Please don't say lame when you mean uncool. Why not? I mean, lame is lame, right? X, are you gonna sing in your guitar covers one day? It's been on my list to do a sing along at the same time for so long. I just never get around to it. I'm also not particularly sure. Like, I cannot listen to myself sing and be like, "Oh, that sounds good." Like, there is some sort of mental thing where it's like I don't like hearing me sing. I like the act of doing it. I just don't like hearing it back. So anyway, it's on my list. I don't know when I'll ever get around to that, you know? Because lame means disabled. I have a feeling you might have said that. I've never really, I mean, maybe it's an American thing more than a British thing, but I've never seen it as those two things overlapping. And the thing with language is that I think intent with language is important, and language does change over time. I mean, retard, the word comes from the retarded association. There was another word that used to be used in a mean way, and then like this association formed to represent people with disabilities, and then that word got taken over and used in a derogatory way, and then we say it's derogatory, it's not cool, and then it like transforms into some other word. Like, it's possible that at some point in time people might use disabled the same way. You know, they might start saying it mean and aggressive, and then that changes the nature of the word, right? Lame means to be immobile. Yeah, I haven't really ever encountered that. Like, lame has just always been a term for something just being naff or whatever, right? Like, not even thinking of it in terms of a person. That's the first time I think I'm hearing of that. Like, I had a hunch though. I had a hunch that might be what it is. Usually is when someone says not to say a particular word, it's like the meaning's probably changed. But this is why intent's important. Like, you should understand people's intentions with language, because language is organic and it changes, and yeah, it means different things in different contexts and over different time. And the F word is like a cigarette. Yep, here in the UK, if you say, have you got a fag, you're just asking someone for a cigarette. And like, if you're thinking like that might be rare or unusual, that is unbelievably common. It is said more than cigarettes, basically. And that's just the way it is here in the UK. You've only heard it for animals. Yeah, maybe. That's sad that people didn't turn words mean. That you wish people didn't turn words mean. Yeah. Well, it's the nature of language is that they change, right? And because people want to be mean to one another, one of the ways to do it is to subvert language and just to say it in a different way. Like, everyone knows you can say, hi, good morning. Oh, how are you? Oh, was it a bad trip on the way to work today? Oh, did you get splashed with some water there? Oh, isn't that sad for you? You know, like, does that sound nice? Even though technically I'm saying like, oh, you got splashed with water on the way to work? Like, you know, that's how language can be used, right? That's just how people can use language that way if they want to, you know? You can do the opposite. I'm not so sure I'm going to be as good as improvising the opposite as like sounding mean and being nice. That's a lot less usual, isn't it? Although actually no, that's a bit more like banter. That's a bit more like with friends. You might call someone something that's usually a swear word or, you know, derogatory, but you both know it's for a laugh because you're both friends and you don't even need to say it, ain't that? Just be sarcastic, yeah. As a chef and in baking, R word is used to hold back. R word, which one is that? In baking, oh my god. I'm not sure what word that is. You and your cousin both greet each other using the middle finger, says Blooming. I love that. That's great. Just flipping each other off. That's great. I like that. That's my kind of sense of humor right there. R word is also the French word for slow. Retardant, right, got you. Fire retardant. Yeah, you see, look, words have like multiple meanings as well, right? That's why I think intent is really important. And then intent when you're online, this is something y'all got to learn and remember, because the internet, we all know, right? You go on the internet and it's a dumpster fire when people talk politics to each other or whatever. Social issues as well. It's like talking online strips even more context out of what you're saying. So you had, you know, at least you could hear that I was saying it in a jovial, friendly way, but like then online you lose some of that too. And with all the people getting their knickers in a twist online, you know, getting angry over comment threads and stuff, like this is one of those things that just makes it even worse, is that we strip out a lot of the humanity with how we communicate to one another. It's why I'm not really like active on social media. I'm there to like put out a tweet saying I'm streaming or I uploaded this video, but I kind of don't really take it too much beyond that. Every now and then I might blurt out some thing that I've been up to, just because I feel like it, but most of the time I don't really engage in those spaces. I don't really engage at all. It's not my thing. Sometimes I get pulled into looking at online threads. I used to do it a lot more when my Twitter page, like I changed the way I post on Twitter so I can't see any of the hashtag stuff. And I used to see it, and it'd always be something that catch my eye, like some sort of hashtag that sounds like, oh, another bunch of nonsense going on, and then you click on it and you look at all these horrible takes on a situation, and you're like, oh, this is depressing, and then I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? Like, stop doing this. This is really bad. It's not great for your head. Stop going on Twitter. You hate social media. They're one of the most toxic platforms I know. It's certainly looking that way, isn't it? We all know now that these algorithms, these platforms are, sorry, like algorithmically biased to create like outrage and to keep us angry and stuff. And I think a lot of people are aware of that, but it's still incredibly popular, right? Like, and maybe there's a lot of people that don't know. So one of the things that I think about is like, with where we're at, we have all of this knowledge, some of us, about how things like Facebook has shaped up over the years and how it affects people's mental health. But then it's like, but how much of the population knows that, right? Like, how much of the overall population, when you start to learn this stuff and your life betters because of it, and you're like, yeah, need to pay attention to all this research and studying that's been done on the effects of social media, and then it's like, but I know that now. How many other people know this? Right? Like, how far is this rippled? Because it's still, people are still on Facebook. I mean, of course, you have the right to use it if you want to. Some people get established and they're in that ecosystem. It's what they do. But like, we know how bad this is, right? We know how bad this is for a lot of things. I've got a feeling one of these slots was for ladders. Unless it... No, ladders went in there. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Trish Pettis, thank you so much for your subscription. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoy today's stream. Covers says it's ruining children too with easy access to my 5-year-old nephew who knows way too much for his age. Oh yeah, the things you can learn on the internet before you should do. I'm a victim of that. I say victim. I take responsibility for my own actions, you know. But like, I probably could have done without seeing half the stuff I've seen on the internet. Social media is a poison. It feels like it, you know. It's supposed to be this age of enlightenment, you know, better communication, and it's all been geared towards, you know, harvesting our attention. And it turns out that bad things seem to harvest our attention more than positive things, which is no surprise, really, if you think of it from an evolutionary psychological perspective. We got noises here. We got Citry XC gifting some subs. Thank you, my dude. Phasma JJ, Ping the Net, Mice QR, Texale, and Queen Sir. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been gifted a sub. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. We also got Ditzy coming in with a super chat. Mental health is everything. Preach, Queen. Thank you, my dude. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you again, Citry, for the gifted subs. Yeah, mental health is huge. I grew up sort of at the beginning of like things starting to turn from a past where I think people didn't really talk about their emotions in that way at all. That language started to open up, and then I've seen it, you know, really become a big thing, talking about mental health. And I think it's great. I do think there is a little bit of like chicken and egg going on, where I think it can be somewhat, you know, it's always circumstantial. It's not like a thumb rule, but like it can be, you know, you can make people anxious if you keep talking about anxiety disorders, you know. There's that element of it. But I think overall it's a net positive, the change in language around these things. Like, one thing I've noticed, when I was growing up, there was a lot of, like, antisocial behavior among youth. There probably still is, but you certainly don't see it out and about anymore. I used to go out, like, with my mates. So growing up, like, for those of you that are under 20 here, like, here's a question for you to answer in the chat. Like, do you go outside to meet up with your friends? Like, and I don't mean like once in a while. I mean like every night. Because when I was growing up, all we ever did was get together outside. We had nowhere to go, no social clubs, like no places. We couldn't go to pubs. And we'd meet up outside. And look, there it is in chat, like just a wall of no's. And this is like a big shift in the way things have changed. Your house was the social club, says Churd. That's kind of my situation too, as well. Is my house was a bit of a social hub, but we would definitely go outside and hang out a lot. And so you would have clashing cultures among kids, you know, goths and grebos and stuff, and then chavs or whatever they're getting called, and roadmen these days or whatever. But like, there would be trouble. You would go out at night and there would just be kids out and about, and they would cause trouble. There'd be all this antisocial behavior and stuff, right? That's disappeared. And if I look at my impression of the current generation of young people, which is not a studied, well-researched, this is something I put my time and energy to opinion. It is literally just whatever X has some sort of impression of them, right? Y'all seem a lot more, I don't know what the right words are, like maybe well-behaved, but like, y'all seem a lot nicer in general. But at the same time, a lot less social. And, I don't know, maybe a bit more like, well, obviously, way more online. It's very interesting to like watch these young generations, come up in this time and age. The Gen Z stare. Yeah, I've heard about that, and I don't, you know, I've interacted with some Gen Z people, and I just don't think in those sort of terms. Like, you are who you are. Like, when you have an interaction with someone, it's very easy just to like be awkward or slip up on your words, or, you know, like not everyone's a slick talking mover like you see on TV, you know. And so I just don't care to think of other people in those terms, because we're all just like getting by, doing our own thing, you know. Yeah, so I don't really, the whole Gen Z stare thing, it's like whatever to me. You think these days the antisocial aspect of youth is mostly online behind the safety of a keyboard? It could very much be. It could very much be that there's antisocial behavior online, and that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, because, you know, young people want to express themselves, and that can manifest in like a bunch of different ways. I was certainly, like, I was a chronically online kid. Like, I feel like I was probably a bit more Gen Z before Gen Z happened, right? But I didn't really engage in trolling behavior. Like, that wasn't my thing. But I could totally, like, if I look back at how like upset and angry I was. Like for it to manifest in that kind of way would have made so much sense. So if that's where it goes these days, if that's where that behavior is being channeled into, that would make a lot of sense. But I mean, we're just talking guesswork, really. Like, I don't know if there's any studies or science behind this stuff. Smartphones and the social media are the cause of why social norms have changed. Yeah, they're definitely a part of it. I mean, it's the whole technology keeps speeding up thing, right? As well. Because a lot of the things you can comment on and say about today's environment, they were kind of like, I grew up in an era where that got exaggerated. So one of the things is like, we talk about short attention spans. And sometimes that gets kind of like lumped onto the apps. But I think the shortening of attention spans was already in effect a little bit because our generation had so much access to media. But then like we weren't as invested as like stuff from the past because there was always something new happening. Whereas that's like that to me looks like it's on hyperdrive now, right? Like a lot of media that is created online today is consumed within 48 hours and then forgotten. There's not so much creation of like evergreen content, stuff that like, you know, TikToks I imagine would be a good example of it, right? You don't have like evergreen TikToks that people watch over and over again and it does the rounds and everyone knows about it. It tends to just be what's happened in the last 48 hours, right? And it's all like a big, yeah, acceleration of what our generation saw just before it. Oh, Ted Ricky, you love the vibes and you want to catch every stream ever since. That's really good to hear, man. I'm glad you like what we do here. I wonder what it'll be like in around 10 years, says Eris Cloud. I mean, it could get really quite dystopian, I think, but at the same time, you got to remember that, like, when you were growing up, it feels normal to you. I mean, at least that's what I think is the norm. I haven't heard of any, you know, Gen Z kids going around going, this isn't normal or whatever, right? Like you just do your thing with the TikTok, you know, it's what you know. So in 10 years, I imagine like the kids that grow up in that generation, it will be their norm. And then your Gen Z generation will be in like, in our days, we only spent 10 hours a day on the phone. You lot are mental. You're on it 16 hours. Some of you don't even sleep to stay on the phone. What's going on? Kids these days, eh? As a Gen Z kid, this doesn't feel normal. Hey, that's a question I would love to see answered on scale. Like, how did Gen Z feel about the state of... I think it'd be better to ask a specific question rather than a broader one, because I think the way in which the world is talked about is quite negative at the moment. And there's reasons for it to be negative. There's also, I think, reasons for it to be positive as well. I think you can flip the coin in different directions there. Depends what you want to focus on, like what aspect of what's going on. I don't know. I am Gen Z and I feel like attention is being taken advantage of with these algorithms. I'm glad you're aware of it, because the thing that concerns me the most is when it's like you just accept things the way they are and don't even question it. So I'm kind of glad you're aware of it. A lot of Gen Z kids are moving backwards, getting flip phones and MP3 players, for example. You see, I've heard about this, but there's a problem. There's a problem with our fractured online environment, is that algorithms show you what you're interested in, right? There's like that feedback loop. So it might not be that Gen Zers are doing this. It might be that there's enough that it creates a story and the story reaches the people that would care. Because there's probably some people that don't care about what Gen Z are up to, you know? Like, not everyone thinks in these terms that we have chats at, like, right here. Not everyone's interested in thinking about what the latest generation are up interested in, you know? For some people, it's like, boring, what's next? I want to watch something else. And that's perfectly fine if that's, you know, how they feel and what they want to do. Yeah, the echo chamber says Soul of the Rift. Yeah, essentially. But to try and not just say echo chamber, to try and say a little bit more, it's like, if you're interested in hearing about Gen Z and what they're ditching their phones and they're getting MP3 players, I'm interested in that. That's why I hear the story. The algorithms figure you out. They know what you're into. So you hear about it, but you don't know if it's really like the big picture or not anymore. We're far away from the days where you had like, you know, one TV channel and the news was the news. And like everyone could have a shared and common reality around what's going on and what's worth knowing about, I guess. There's some upsides to that, there's some downsides. You can talk about power and control and yada yada yada, but like it gave us a shared reality, and we're not having a shared reality so much anymore. Doesn't feel like it anyway. I don't get a phone until my parents force me to get one this year. I hate the social media crap, says the Skizzleman fan. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use your phone, right? Like, you can use it as little as you like. And maybe something that might help you is installing tools to help you with that, you know? Like, don't leave it always to your willpower. Like, put in some tools that help you limit your time and stuff, like unload the cognitive effort it takes to do that to something else. But I'm glad you feel that way. Like, I really think it's important that Gen Z have the ability to like reflect on what's being pushed onto them and make their own decisions about it without just using it blindly, right? I got lucky because I'm an older Gen Z and I got my first phone later than most around my age. What I see is the reason we are addicted to our phones is because that is most what people talk about in school, and if you aren't on social media, you're an outsider, unfortunately throwing us into the loop of short form content. Yeah, the whole being an outsider thing as well. It's all of this stuff is like particularly predatory on the youngest generation, because when you go to school you have to deal with all of those like social fitting in pressures, and it tends not to be until you're older that that stuff doesn't mean anything to you anymore. So you're like very susceptible to it, and it's going to influence your behavior. You're born in 2010. Is that Gen Z or Gen Alpha? That's a good question. I'm not really sure where the boundary is. Julie Palm says, disabling the majority of notifications on my phone was very impactful for me. My phone, like, the only notifications I really get are like calendar events, people messaging me on a particular app. Like, I have one that does and one that doesn't. Trying to think of what else pops in there, actually. I really lock it down. Every time I add an app, it's like no notifications. You know, even something like a sports app, I don't want to be notified of any of the scores. XB, my dude, look at this guy. I said I lost my diamonds, right? Should we call him FedXB? I love that. That's a really cool little thing. Let's thank you for the Xmas Prezi. Am I spelling it right? I think I am. You found my diamonds. I've been joking. I've been saying like, you know, hey, I need some diamonds. So like, I wonder if there's like a cryptic message here. Probably not, but I noticed that these are not laid out in perfect symmetry. And like, RBH, SB, is there some secret message here? Probably not. Probably not. That's awesome. I might literally upgrade that to Netherrack and have. I mean, I can literally use it like that, but like if I upgrade it, even better. But yeah, that's an awesome present. Thank you, XP. Thank you very much. Let's go down and do some inventory sorting. Not cryptic, totally random. Fair enough. Because I think I would find it hard to get invested in figuring out something really cryptic like that without knowing what the end result is or like where it's going to lead to. I feel like cryptic clues and puzzles are like fascinating, interesting, but the acts of solving them, it needs that like incentive. You need that drive to like, why am I doing this? You know? Still no plans at Mushroom Island. Yeah, I don't have any plans to do anything over there. Are you the only one who feels like when people call him FedXB, it's disrespectful? No, it's totally a positive thing. I mean, I think... Oh, I don't think XB gave himself the term FedXB, but it's like in no way negative. It's just a way to have a little bit of fun, right? Put stone in shulker boxes. Absolutely not. The rule is, once my bulk storage fills up, I start throwing it away. I'm playing in a way this season where it's like smaller storage system, keep it simple, and like be smart with shulker boxes, because I'm not going to build a farm probably, even though we've got a really cool one we could build, and I don't want to, you know, keep having to go back to the end, so we'll do it this way. Tango needs lots and lots of stone. I think he needs andesite now, right? I think andesite. I need andesite. We need to go mine some. I'm going to repair tools. Maybe we'll do a little bit of easy digging, you know, just keep having a chat since we're in a chatty mood today. Right, this is much better now. Get rid of the last of that stone there. And yeah, that'll do. The rest can get sorted. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little brain break. I need to pop to the loo. And I'm going to boil the kettle, and I'm going to have a cup of decaf coffee as well. When I come back, we'll continue the conversations. And we'll go do some activities. We'll get out of the warehouse for a little bit. How's that sound? While I'm gone, let's throw up the old little promo screen. Alright, peeps. I will not be long. I'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. I'm back, people. I'm back. I'm back. Yo! Is that real? Power bars, my dude. I can't believe your generosity, man. 25 gifted subs. That's absolutely insane. Peeps in the chat, be sure to check. There's a lot of names right there. Come back and check. See if you're one of them. Say thank you. And seriously, dude, appreciate your continued generosity, and I hope you enjoy all we do here. I was thinking, you know, let's change the tone of the conversation a little bit. It could be a little bit heavy. And another one, Powerball's gifting a sub to LD166 or 166, who's been here all stream, and we've answered a couple of their questions. So super cool to see you gifting them on as well. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was thinking let's change the tone a little bit, the topic maybe, because it's Christmas, or it was. It's Christmas, right? We're gonna go repair tools. I got a backup tool now as well. There isn't an official space for that there. Technically, I don't think I need 2 stacks of food wherever I go. I'm gonna take out a stack of food and put it in there. And then I want to check up on how my farm's doing. It looks like it's doing really well. I've noticed that the AI, the copper golem, is a little more self-repairing, right? Like, I've seen it break and then fix itself without my intervention on occasion, so that looks kind of promising. Oh, we never took this as well. Yay! Extra shulker box. So how did y'all enjoy your Christmas? Do you have any cool stories? I'll tell you a little bit about mine after, maybe. The title of the stream, by the way, is Boxing Day Blues, because I usually struggle a little bit from the blues, and the reason being is just like it's such a lovely time, and then all of a sudden it's over, and I feel like it goes quicker each and every year. And for me, I'll make this story brief, but like, I have a lot of lovely Christmas memories from when I was a kid. And then I became a moody teenager who didn't want anything to do with their family and was just a pain in the ass who would like disappear as quickly as I could from doing Christmas stuff. Right? That was just my attitude. That was just the ideas that I let occupy my mind. And that went on for far too long. And now that I'm sort of back, you know, and loving Christmas again, when I sort of air quotes come back to it, they go by quicker, and you get this moodiness after it where you're like thinking about all the past Christmases. And isn't it weird, like nostalgia can have that like sting to it, where even though you're thinking about great memories and stuff, that it can make you feel sad. It's a really, really strange thing. Freya says, I have holiday blues in general. Living 12 hours from my family makes it rough sometimes. I can imagine, right? Like, you don't see them a lot, and then you go have a lovely time, and then you gotta drive the other way. I totally get it. Pickled Nikki, thank you ever so much for 2 months of support, by the way. Appreciate you. Thank you. As a parent, moody teenagers are such a pain in the ass. Brilliant Scholar, can I just apologise on behalf of all moody teenagers? As I was one, I feel like I can represent us all and just say, one day we'll apologise, I hope. My parents gave me so much tolerance when I was in that phase, and I can't thank them enough for it, really. Didn't appreciate it at the time, definitely do now. Beyond appreciate it, you know. Is anyone else active on the Hermitcraft server right now? Well, Joe and XB were both streaming, so like it's the 3 of us holding it down with some live streams today. Yes, please, for us all moody teens. And if you're one moody teen out there and you're like, oh, I hate my parents, all this stuff, like, I don't know you and your family life, right? I don't know what the story is there, but it seems to be an affliction that happens to many of us, and if you can find your way out of it sooner than later, you'll probably be very thankful when you get to the end of that journey. Was I an emo teenager when I was young? I feel like you could call me an emo teenager, but I wasn't into the emo movement. Like, I remember all that music and that whole thing. I didn't like it. But then I was just like a judgmental, moody teenager, so I was like, as much as I didn't like it, I was almost like the perfect example of it in some ways. It's funny. Oh, I never put those away, did I? A sumo with a fringe. Never. Never, never, ever. The emo movement is fascinating. If it tickles your interest, a lot of movements generally are. For me, you didn't get into The Cure. I actually love The Cure. Oh, wait, you actually phrased that as a joke. Yeah, no, I love The Cure. I was listening to them the other day. to me, The Cure is like post-punk. Obviously, it's a big like platform in which to create like emo music from, but at their stage of what they're doing, I love The Cure. I think they're a great band. There's like a water source block missing here and there. There's like a couple missing in that, I think. Oz Magpie, thanks for a nice message, dude. Hope you had a nice sunny Christmas. Actually, to be fair, it was sunny here, just not all day because it's winter. Oh, there's a little story for you, right? Every Christmas, not every Christmas, but every Christmas in like the last 10 years plus, I will get up early in the morning and go for a walk. And it's lovely because it's always really quiet. Like almost eerily quiet. And when you hear a car, you'll hear them off in the distance. It's like one in a while. And it reminded me of being in Wales, out in rural Wales. You'd hear a vehicle every now and then, but otherwise you could sit and listen to the trickle of the local river. It was like that, just so quiet. And I always really enjoy that walk. I always go on a really long one because, you know, you're going to eat loads of food later, burn some of it off or whatever. A lot of people here went for a Christmas morning swim in the sea, and I don't know how people can do it. It's bloody freezing. I would say you're probably going to have to do it to figure it out. I would sign myself up for that. I think it'd be really nice. The cold can be very refreshing, and there's lots of health benefits, supposedly, to doing cold plunges and stuff. I would love to give that a try. I think a big part of it is that you get out again, right? Like, it's not like you're signing up to stay in there. Like, you can get out whenever you want, and it can be quite refreshing. I mean, I have cold showers quite often. Usually after the sauna, though, to cool down. And it's so refreshing. Like, my little routine of, like, run, sauna, cold shower, it's like, you know, running's exhausting. Then you sit down and kind of get a bit of energy back. But then you sweat so much, and you're just like, oh, you're just full of heat. And it makes you feel in a way that I'm not sure I have like a lot of words to describe because I haven't thought about it. But then when you come out and you get in a cold shower, oh, it's so refreshing. So refreshing. Running into the snow after the sauna, that kind of thing, yeah. What is my 5K personal best? So currently I run at, I think I'm probably running a 5K personal best every time I run at the moment. Let me grab my calculator. No, that's not how you open the calculator. So I run at... This is going to be a pain in the bum. Miles to km. I need that first, right? So I run on my treadmill at 8.5 miles per hour. So that's 13 kilometers in an hour. How do I do the math? This is where I can just ask ChatGPT, right? It's like, let's say it's 13.6. Right, I'm typing in the wrong numbers for some reason. 13.6. If I multiply that by 60 and then divide it by 30, that doesn't sound right. It doubles it up. If I wasn't streaming, I could probably think and focus enough, but I need silence for that. Distance divided by speed gets to time. Distance divided by speed gets to time. You see, I'm trying to do something a little different. Distance divided by speed. So 5 divided by 13.67 equals 0.36. Is that like a... That's like 36% of an hour, which is 60. So do I have to multiply that by 60 and then I get 21 point... That sounds like it. That sounds like it. So 21.94. Let's just call it 22 minutes. I think it takes me 22 minutes to run 5 kilometers. That sounds very much like it. And you're doing 5K compared to miles an hour. No, I converted miles an hour into kilometers and used kilometers for that, right? Someone else can verify it. 8.5 miles per hour. 5 kilometers in 22 minutes. There you go. Fizo's in the chat. 8.5 equals 13.68 equals 60 divided by 13.68 equals 4.39. 4.38 times 5 equals 21.9. Yeah, I just rounded it up to 22 minutes. So 22 minutes to run 5k is how long it takes me. That current tempo, though, it gets a little tricky past 30 minutes, I've noticed. I feel it a bit more. But I've been consistently running 85 miles an hour. I generally run for like 24, 25 minutes, somewhere around there. And then I'll do sprints. I'll do 20 minutes of sprints someday where I go between 7 miles an hour and 10 on the treadmill. 1 minute of this, 1 minute of that. Running 85 miles an hour. 8.5 miles an hour. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I just realized. No, I've remembered. I was going to say there's like this little access thing that I blocked off under the path. No, I didn't. This little access to the down area, I made another way to get to it when I built the entrance. We're going to go find some andesite. Actually, I never checked. Apparently the stream on YouTube froze. I can't do much about that, really. Just going to keep streaming. You cannot run as much these days as you used to. You just lift weights. I think keeping cardio is important. You know, keeping your cardio is like a good sign of health. Is it this that I need, is what I'm thinking. Oh, yeah, no, I came and ransacked this. What about tough? Tough we're still good on. Probably need a bit more. So let's see if we can get those two kind of done. Stream on YouTube is working for you, says Hivemind. Commenting from YouTube as well, that works. That works for me. A bike is easy on the joints, says Prish Pratis. It is, it is. So yeah, that's been my running pace for a while now, and I love it. I just love... I really love my routine. I realized I'm very much a person of like habit and routine. I just kind of like the familiar grooves and the predictability, I think. Anyway, I wanted to share some of y'all Christmases stories, and this is a very common thing. I just end up talking about myself a lot. So, if any of y'all want to share some stories or something. Any Christmas stories? Our Gamer says, I mean, it's your stream. It is, yeah, it is. Never smoke joints on a bike. They burn down too quick. I mean, like, I thought there might have been a bit of a a bit of a joke there. And it's just, I don't even know what we're saying now. Why are you smoking on a bike? Like, you know, that's exercise right there. You got the Lego set you've been begging for 4 months. You're so happy. That's awesome. I'm glad you got what you wanted. That's cool. Also, Lego, pretty awesome. Going to be a big part of my season, actually, Lego. Because there's another thing I got lined up. Well, I know where this is. Because the beacon beam, I've been here before. Something just shoot at me. There might be something down there. We're looking for andesite, and we found it. Very good. Before we go do that though, I'm gonna take the time to read a little bit of chat right now, and warm up my hands as I've got a nice decaf coffee here, so keep them nice and warm. You got some Stranger Things merch because apparently I was overly excited about the new season. Because if you like it, that's awesome. You know, that's cool. You got a Switch 2 so you can play Zelda. Awesome. I saw the Switch 2 at Christmas. It looks really good. You got a record player, so now you can play your parents' vinyls from the 80s and 90s. I'm glad you're into that. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, if they've got a vinyl collection, you can enjoy it too, right? We said earlier about like how much stuff is like, people always want to consume what's new, and like less stuff feels timeless, especially online. But like, yeah, you know, there's a world of music out there. I love music from many generations, you know. The 90s is just happens to be my favorite, so I hope you enjoy that. You got some Metro Mayhem merch, Aspen, that's awesome. A Metallica shirt and Soad and Pantera CDs. Oh, I approve. I approve. Big time. That sounds like a present for me. You got a camcorder and $500 for Christmas. That's awesome. You like the 78s. Isn't that a vinyl size, the 78? You got a sleep token hoodie from your husband, a blanket, and a sleep token fridge magic knit. Awesome. And some of y'all got Hermitcraft merch. That's great. Love to hear it. You got a Ridge wallet and a new mouse. I've got one of those Ridge wallets. They're all right. Got 11 notebook cover you can refill with inserts for your planner and some journaling because you don't have much faith in memory and would like to store some things that way. That sounds like a really good way to do it because I struggle with memory as I get older too. But I feel sometimes like the way in which I use my phone to help me remember little odds and sods and stuff, I feel like it's the right thing, but I have a gut feeling that using... I have a gut feeling I might have chewed out andesite from this location before. I have a gut feeling that doing it with pen and paper is probably more beneficial. It's a bit more tactile to help you remember, you know? Let's go up into that mine shaft. There'll be some stuff up there, I'm sure. Maybe some cave spiders by the sounds of it. What do we want to do when we find cobwebs? We want to use some metal. Preferably heavy metal. I hear iron's pretty... Oh my god, I just remembered something, right? I just remembered something I want to talk about. Something I want to research, actually. So, this Christmas, I love doing jigsaws, by the way. I tried to do a jigsaw with my nephew. He was so not interested. And it was the periodic table of elements. And something about the way it was presented, the graphics they used, I was so interested. Once we did the jigsaw and it was finished, I spent ages looking at the table of elements, and I know some of y'all are like brain smartest out there that will probably have the answer for this, or maybe not, but like the periodic table of elements, and this is not X teaching you science, this is X trying to remember what I learned the other day, so I'll probably get it all wrong. But the periodic table, right, you have atoms, and inside of them you have like protons and neutrons, and some of them like rotate around the center of the atom. And the amount of them that are rotating around it determines what type of element it is. And that to me is kind of interesting and mysterious because like you add one, it becomes a different element. You add two, it becomes another one. And then I wonder like, what is it that adding one does to this thing? Like, why does it then take on these other properties? And when you zoom out and look at the periodic table and the way it's arranged, there's almost like some patterns that emerge. There's almost like some uniformity. And I guess I kind of wonder, like, are these telling us something about the universe? Do we know from looking at the periodic table of elements, does it teach us stuff about the way things work due to the way it's like structured? The way it's arranged, you've got all the noble gases on the right, just a column of them. And then you've got like some zigzaggy bits for certain types of metal. And then all your gases, I think, are on the left. And then there's like this block of like unstable elements where between this number and that number, they're all like radioactive and unstable. And it just makes me wonder, like, obviously it's a man-made construct to organize the information this way. But like in doing so, where these patterns emerge, is that telling us something about how this stuff works? Is this like an area of chemistry and science and maybe even physics that people have looked into and figured out? Does anyone know that? Because that's what I want to find out next. I'm like, this looks fascinating. Has laying it out like this taught us some secrets? It's all about the electrons. It relates to how many electrons can bond to it. Yeah, that's the number going up, right? The number it has is the amount of electrons. I think what I'm trying to say is like, there are multiple patterns across the periodic table based on the properties of elements, says Archie. Yeah. So like, I think pattern makes us want to think in terms of reason or structure, or like, do we then infer from that some other secrets about the universe? So most of the patterns are intentional. It's like with maths, right? We have all these rules and clever mathematics that emerge from the concept. And then you have things like prime numbers. And it makes you think, like, what is the structure behind prime numbers? Why do they emerge here? Is that going to teach us or tell us anything when we figure it out? And I guess it's a similar sentiment being tied to chemistry. Different atoms can have similar properties. Atoms in the same column act similarly. So atoms or ions with the same number of outer core electrons can act similarly. Interesting, interesting. I guess that the noble gases, they're all gases, right? And they're in the same column together. Fairchild says, yes, we learned a lot from finding patterns in nature. We do, don't we? Allows us to understand other complex things like biochemistry, which revolutionized modern medicine. I feel like this could be a topic I could get into. Like, I need to find some podcasts from, like, chemistry nerds explaining this stuff, because I reckon that'll be my cup of tea right there. You can talk for an hour about chemistry. I could probably listen for an hour, you know? Atomic physics is very cool. It is, yeah. They are the structure of the universe, absolutely. To me, like, this is just some of the most fascinating stuff. Chemistry and science and physics and maths. Love it. This is why you're in the social science class and not the nature science class. So that's like, you're looking at the more experiential side of reality, consciousness and whatnot, and not like the foundational sort of rules of the physical world. The guy who made the periodic table was able to predict what would be next in the missing elements because of their properties. Ah, yeah. Yeah, there was this guy called Bob Lazar who was who's like he's got a story that he worked at Area 51 and that he saw like an alien spacecraft and stuff, and like he's supposed to be super smart and stuff, and apparently he predicted like some elements that would be in the periodic table. But I've heard like a really good counter argument to that, which is like, well, he didn't really predict it. He just added 1 to the number, right? Like you have here's the one. Some people in chat will like do this for us right now. Like if I said 79, you'd probably be like, oh, that's copper, or I can't remember them, right? But isn't 1 is helium and 2 is what are the most common things? Oh, that's another question I had. So the first 2 are the most common in the universe. 74% of the universe is like helium, and then I think it's followed by hydrogen. Again, me not science guy, don't take it verbatim. 1 is hydrogen, 2 is helium. There we go. This is another question that I had. All right, let's go on a deeper tangent right now, and we'll come back to that Bob Lazar thing in a second. But so the question I had is, the higher the number goes, does it happen to be uniform that it goes further down the percentage of the amount of it you find in the universe? And I'm basing that just on noticing that 1 and 2 are the most, right? Like 1 is the most, 74%, 2 has like 20, and then is 3 like in 3rd place and 4th and 4th? 1 is hydrogen and 2 is helium. They are both elements that compose stars, yes. Quite a few people saying no, it's not like that. Fair enough, cool. That was just a little like, oh, I wonder if, you know, and now you've answered it for me, thank you. Not exactly, but heavier elements are less common. Interesting. So maybe there's a little bit of that, but it's not like an exact slope or something. The problem with your question is we don't know as much about the entire universe's composition as we must to answer. Oh, that's a great answer, really. So we don't actually fully know. Yeah, I mean, there's all that stuff with like that's another thought I had. So like, where's dark matter and dark energy on the periodic table? I think it exists as a force, and we don't know what it is. So maybe it can't be something physical that exists in the periodic table, but there's a lot of that out there, whatever it is, right? Like, I've heard it said that we shouldn't call it dark energy because we're not actually sure if it's energy. Same for matter, but it's like a thing that you have to plug into the equations to like then go, now if this stuff's here, we don't know how to detect it, we don't know what it is, but it makes all the other mathematics around this make sense, you know? Something like that. Powerboss says, nice, X. Oh, are you just complimenting my my slice and dice skills right there? Fascinating. We all know it exists, but we haven't discovered it, yeah. Alright, so the thing with Bob Lazar is, what I heard is that basically, like, all he really did is said, like, there'd be this element, and, like, we kind of already knew that there would be one because it's just adding one to the periodic table, right? Which is interesting because I first heard that in isolation, right? I think it's something super important to remember when listening to podcasts is just, you're often hearing things in isolation. It's not part of a broader discussion, and, you know, if you're going to listen to a narrative, especially if it's something like some big implementations and what you think about how the world works, or if it has some sort of big consequence to it, like seek out the other voices, because when said in a vacuum, it sounds, you know, like this guy's really intelligent and he predicted something, and it almost adds credibility to his story, which you shouldn't do because it's not related to his story. But like, then you find out, no, that's like, if you didn't know chemistry, that's like not anything. Sorry, if you knew chemistry, it's not anything. So, yeah. X will study and become Professor X, teaching us all about the universe. I'm up for that. I must admit, Professor X sounds very cool, you know? Castor Christie, 21, thank you for the Prime. 18 months, 2 Twitch babies. Have an animation. Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate that. We've got Talafi here coming in with the Prime as well. Thank you for Prime subscription. Appreciate it. Predicting another element is like saying after Monday goes Tuesday. That's a great way to put it. Exactly. Because we know that there will be an element when you add one more proton to the mix. A lot of them, though, at the end of the periodic table are unstable. And the thing I was doing didn't explain what that meant, but I'd heard it somewhere else before. I think it means like you create it for, you know, air quotes, a split second, but we're probably talking, you know, fractions of a microsecond, you know, like an incredibly small measurement of time. They like appear and then they're unstable. Bam, they're gone. Which is fascinating. Most of the stories are just to convince we are out of the know and must listen to the experts. This is a basis of technocratic authoritarian system they are trying to implement. I mean, who is trying to implement it? The problem with that kind of like undermining the credibility of experts is that you still have to then replace it with an expert opinion, right? Like if you're going to go and say, we can't trust science because it's part of this big scheme and yada yada yada, it's like, but then you're handing over that so-called expertise to another source. The source that tells you about it, like, and so what gives them credibility, right? Like, there's a lot of that, and it's an unbelievably muddy and messy thing to get into. Who are they? The UN, the United Nations. Again, like, it's, you got a big institutional body that has a lot of power to control and influence the way the world works, but like, that's also what people try to do, right? They try to, sometimes nefariously, selfishly, we've all heard of what a dictator is. And then sometimes people work together to try and influence the world in a positive way, but then other people disagree, and then they start calling into a question the authority, and, you know, okay, so now if someone calls into question the authority, you've got a new authority, which is them, who's questioning it. That's why this stuff just to me is so messy to deal with. So unbelievably messy. And it's just like, we're never gonna... Oh, I never put that away. I'm like, where the heck that come... Wait a minute, did I leave a... I might have left one of these lying around. I don't think I did. I think I picked it back up. But that goes into there. That being said, I wanted to get my fortune pick while I was down here. For some reason, I love mining coal in this game. I don't know what it is. Whenever I see coal, I'm like, make sure you mine that. Considering I'm using it as a fuel source at the moment, it's not a bad thing. Yo, Broken Crayola, thank you ever so much for gifting the sub. Victor Diabetes, or Diabetes, thank you for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it, my dude. The problem is, unless you know how to do the math, you're only hearing the translation of what's really going on. It's secondhand knowledge, says Gorg Nardish. Exactly. I think we should have a little bit more acknowledgement of most of us, most of our worldviews, most of what we understand about what's going on is basically all secondhand. Like it has to be in order for us to learn about these big things. It's going to be secondhand knowledge. And sometimes it's third or fourth hand. The amount of times I've heard like ideas go round in a circle on a podcast and talk about like their truth, and it's like I kind of actually heard where that one came from, and now it's like some verbatim thing on podcasts. Because a lot of podcasters are just listening to other podcasts, right? And a lot of these podcasts bring people on, let them say what they want, and there's not much in the way of, like I said earlier with the Bob Lazar thing, there's not much in the way of having someone sit with them who maybe opposes their views or can clarify or put in a counter argument, you know? Braveheart One Cast, thank you for the prime. Didn't I say we were going to talk about Christmas presents and stuff, and then somehow we just get really heavy with it again? You just can't listen to these kinds of podcasts as multi-sync. Yeah, I like them when they bring on the scientists, you know? When they bring on science communicators and people doing interesting stuff, but then in between it you get exposed to all these other types of characters, and it's the ones coming in and telling you about all of this like conspiracy and corruption. It gets a bit like, please. Heavy topics are cool. They are. I just feel like I go there all the time lately for some reason. Let's go ahead and silk touch some of this as well. Right, we've probably got enough andesite. I think we should go get some. Yeah, let's get some of that. Why don't we fill up a box with andesite here and then a box with tuff next? And then I need to get blackstone as well if I'm to continue that build. So our work is cut out for us, I think. What's up with all the zombies as well? They're just coming from far and wide. I'm not gonna fill it all the way up. You don't have to do that. I'm just gonna go do what I think's interesting. Now this guy holding an egg may have not despawned. I have a little story to tell you. The other day when I was pranking Scar, I must have killed about, I'm not exaggerating, I think at least 50 or 60 zombies that all came from this little hole under Scar's base where they were all holding eggs, right? Like I said, not exaggerating, I really think at least 50 or 60. It was non-stop. It was like, I kept killing them, and then I was like, I'm starting to run out of food and hunger here. Like, they just don't stop coming. And they were coming in a line. They were doing like a conga line, you know? It was crazy. I also have a feeling that oh yeah, that's silk touch, I guess. I have a feeling that I'm going to need a lot of these before long. I think it's because I've been doing that mob farm recently and I've been building it out of tinted glass. It's in the back of my mind that I should come harvest some of this. Scar's caves are not Scar safe. That seems very true. Oh no, I broke the one in the middle. Whoopsie. And I did it again. I'm not even trying to do it. Oh my god. Yo, another one. They just keep coming. And a baby. Oh my god. These caves are unsafe. Babies are the worst to deal with, right? Why don't you use you? That's why you don't use your OP pick for this. Oh, right. True. I felt like I could aim at least, but apparently I can't. Oh, now I'm using the wrong pick again, so well done me. Oh my god, where'd you come from? I was just in that room. After dealing with Amethyst farming for a month, we decided to add a data pack that allows us to silk touch budding blocks, an absolute game changer. I don't think Hermitcraft would go for that, but after playing with this for so many years, it would just give you a reason to do something you do every season and then do it a little different, which I kind of like the sound of. You know? Pick them up, build a mega farm somewhere, that would be pretty cool. Maybe one day we'll do it on Hermitcraft. I think Hermitcraft has a pretty strong like vanilla reputation, but like the bells and whistles we put on stuff are cosmetic, and that wouldn't be a cosmetic change, would it? It would be a straight up, you know, changing survival kind of change. Another one! How predictable. Why is it always zombies as well? Just I think it's because they track you from afar is probably it. Right, I'm gonna call it there. We were supposed to get tough, and then we're probably gonna get blackstone. And yeah, we don't want to get distracted too much by all this stuff. That's the beauty of Minecraft. You can modify the experience to what you like. Yep, I 100% agree with that. The only thing is, if you play in multiplayer environments, you need like consensus and disclosure. You know, you need to tell your player base what's different, and you should probably get their approval. Although, I mean, if you run a server as like, hey, it's my thing, and I'll do what I want, and you can play, then as long as you've stated that, then I guess it's your server. The Danish dude, thank you for 10 months with the Prime. We also got another Prime from Cap and Jolly Rogers. Thank you for using those Amazons on me. Very much appreciated. I've just realized I've really got no idea where I am. I'm also out of torches. I've been waffling so much I don't know the way back. If I go down, though, we get closer to that deep slate cave. Yeah, and now I'm back. Now I'm back. Patch of Tough next. Patch of Tough. I also have some Silk Touch. Nope, I'm using the wrong pick. Never mind. Literally the wrong pick. Okay. Let's go ahead and put some Amethyst in here. Cobwebs can go in there. And then a few extras in here. Yeah, that'll fill it up at that point. Take that out, put that in there, and we can keep making use of this, I reckon. Right, we continue. Although I need torches. Torches would be nice. Are vanilla tweaks sometimes too on vanilla for Hermitcraft? Well, vanilla tweaks isn't like... It isn't what Hermitcraft uses per se. One is all I have. So it's not really about if it's two or not, it's just what we agreed to do. Vanilla tweaks is like mostly cosmetic, but at the vanilla game. When we add cosmetic stuff, it tends to be like things that allow us to do more, whereas vanilla tweaks is like subtle changes to the game. Powerbot says, gotta love the holidays. Lol, I don't even know if it's a Wednesday or Thursday today. I can tell you that it is... I think it's Saturday. No, it's Friday, right? Yeah, I just opened it up. It's Friday. Yeah, I always end up being like quite busy around this time. I think maybe next year I want to sort of prioritize having a bit more of like a lax, no plans. Yeah, because at this time of year I don't really get to see my mates. I always think I'm gonna like get together and see my mates, and then I never have the time to. I kind of one year want to do like a mates Christmas where we all get together for a day and have our own like Christmas day together. I think that'd be awesome. Is that super rare? Is Deep Slate Coal rare? I don't think it is. It's Deep Slate Emerald, I think, that's the rare one now. But I'll take it. Might use that in the build palette one day, you know. I'll take it. I'm 47. I started playing Minecraft with my son 5 years ago. Now I'm addicted. Dangerous game, but good. Awesome. It's amazing, right, this game? I love it. Yeah, Deep Slate Coal is pretty rare, but not as rare as Deep Slate Emerald. You have confirmed my bias. Thank you for doing so. That's what I needed right now. A little bit of confirmation bias, you know? Deep Slate Coal is still rare. I'll hold on to it then. Works for me. Hey, and then some lapis. Hey, there's more of it, and it comes with a little bit of regular stuff too. I feel like that might be a second vein, actually. Maybe not. Anyone want to share some more Christmas stories? I think I told you mine pretty much. Like, there were loads of lovely moments I don't need to get into or anything, but like, for me, the main thing was like just getting up and going for that early morning walk. Like, if you don't know about it, you'll definitely know about it if you go for an early morning walk. The world is quiet on Christmas Day and it's lovely. And it should be enjoyed. Gilded Blackstone is hard to find. It is, yeah. Blackstone is what we're going to go get after this, I think. Then we've probably got the resources in place to finish this up. Trying skiing for the first time very soon and scared, says the moon. Or the mon, even. Don't be scared. It's awesome. You'll very much be in control. You know, it's obviously going to be a bit scary and stuff, but when you're learning, they're not going to take you to, you know, red slopes and stuff. You'll just be on, like, very gentle slopes getting acclimatized. Hopefully you got lessons sorted out, that being said. Lessons are good. You know, you learn to do your pizza slice or the plow, whatever they call it, and the main thing about skiing, I think, if I were to give a tip to a beginner, is like you're just learning to stop, right? And that's the control you want. You want to be able to stop the experience. You're new, you're scared, you pick up some speed, you're worried, like, it's okay. You just got to focus on that, like, ability to stop, because the going fast bit is like, you know, that's just going downhill, right? It's easy. You go on a green, you go a certain speed, you go on blue, you're going to go a little faster, you go on red, you know, the steeper the faster, and you get to assert control over that, you know? And so, yeah, you're essentially learning to stop. And that's a form of control over the situation, right? I've never laughed so hard, and it's green too. He was stuck like a turtle. Say what? Oh wait, this is a two-part message. You have an egg chair that sits on the floor instead of hanging. It tips easily. My boyfriend was warned several times. He sat full force into it, fell backwards, and he got stuck. That sounds great. I love moments like that. They happen at Christmas, right? Silly little things. People have drunk too much, eaten too much. Anything can happen. Right, let's pick up this bit over here. Oh, did you notice the music was a bit Christmassy, by the way? That was intentional. Very intentional. Oh, we'll put that in there as well. You're excited to stay up for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve I never like much. I never really do anything for New Year's Eve. I don't like it. I never did. It's something about celebrating the advancement of time and it ticking forward. It just not really my thing. Even though these days I'm on to say embrace it, you know, that's just how life works. You just keep going into the future. Usually too fast for comfort. Is it drunk or drank? Well, you drank something and you can be drunk if you're intoxicated. That's how that works. Yo, Kyodu, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate it ever so much. Hope you're enjoying the stream today. You had your first proper white Christmas. What does proper white Christmas mean? Oh, do you mean like there was snow? That's awesome. No snow where I was, just clear skies and bitter cold. And it was bitterly cold. I mean, it could always be colder, but it was a very cold Christmas. Trailer Park Christmas. White Christmas is snow. What are we talking about? Where's Becca's message? It snowed lots. There you go. It was. Got you. Snowy Christmas. I had one when I was a kid, when I was very young. I remember being at my grandparents' house and going outside in the snow and stuff. I might have been like 10. I remember that. But that was like one. But I think it was more common for it to snow at that time of year back then. And that's changed. And since then, it's always been like a bit of snow maybe in March. Which seems very unusual, but that's usually how it goes. We had snow in November this year. Very briefly, one morning, that was it. But yeah, I'd love that really, like to have a proper white snowy Christmas. That would be so cool. Although the thing is, you are probably going to spend a lot of time indoors. If I had that though, I'd probably go for a walk to enjoy everything, you know, covered in snow. You get outside, but the thing is, you will be inside probably the majority of the day. But hey, look out the window. Don't look at your phone. Right, there we go. That'll do for the tough, I think. That's a nice, good harvest. Blackstone next, so we'll go drop this off. We'll go drop it off. Right, where are we going? The way out is somewhere over there. I think I might just build a staircase. Frost Ninja, welcome to the stream. Boxing Day is when you have a boxing match with your siblings over who gets the presents. Yo, so Scar told this story about how I once trolled him and said that, like, here in the UK we all go boxing or something like that. Now, I don't remember telling Scar this, but I was just like, that sounds so like something I would do in the moment. Such a me thing to do. Taking that opportunity to troll, you know, what's Boxing Day? I'm like, oh, you're asking me a question. Shouldn't ask me a question. I don't live under a bridge. What are you talking about? For Blackstone, you think Gem has a mini shop by her tavern? It might be empty though. I'm just going to go mine some, that's all. Yes, I'm sitting down for the next part of the stream. Got to drop these things off first. That being said, I do want to make a little... let's take this one. I think I might start using the ones that have been dyed for projects. That way they'll just distinguish themselves a little bit. But yeah, I think what I might start doing is just putting some of these materials aside, actually. Did I just dump all of it in there? That was not as much as I got. I put it into that one, that's why. Let's take it back out again. Let's put it all in one chest. That way I know it's at. Okay, so these things can go into here. Then we got all of that as well. All of that to deal with. Oh my days, so much of it. How many put in there? 1, 2, 3, 4 for now. Whoops. Is that the correct bit? It is, it is. Those will get thrown away. I really, really, really need to run a sort. I mean, look at this. It's just an absolute mess. Oh dear. Right, I'll take a clean box. And, well, actually, no, I'll use that one. I'll use that one. That'll be fine. Where did I get this water bucket from? I think I took it out of one of these, actually. Maybe. It won't do me no good where I'm going, but I will need that just in case. Oh, and then there's this. Oh my god. Definitely need to run a sort. Okay, you go back in there. Let's go to the next location. Damn, I'm coming over from YouTube and it's like 5 to 10 seconds behind. Ah, okay, there's a bit of latency between the two. It's to be expected, I guess. Technology, right? Technology. You love seeing the Christmas chest texture. It's alright. It's alright. It's a nice little Easter egg. Your least favourite English word is depths. So tricky to say. I mean, I probably said it wrong, so, you know, I can't comment on the matter. Wait, Nealm says that YouTube streams are 10 to 15 seconds behind for some reason. Well, I'm streaming to a multi-streaming service, so It's not comparing one and the same, you know? Oh, whoops. There's no unique Christmas textures for the copper chest. There's not one for the ender chest as well. When I grabbed the picture for today's stream, I saw one that had a like purplish Christmas one, which I think was made for the ender chest, and I was like, that would be nice to just have for vanilla, you know? Oh, look cool. That one noob, welcome to your first Xisuma stream. Hope you have a good time hanging out with us today. We got Brianna. Now, you know what? If I take a little bit more time to read the name. Brianna, A26, thank you so much for 2 months. You get to watch X while you work today. Happy Christmas. Awesome, awesome. Hope you enjoy it. You wish Bedrock did the present chest. Does Bedrock not? I mean, there's so many parity things, right? I wasn't aware of that one. Spooky, thank you for sharing the Twitch link over on YouTube. For all the YouTube peeps watching, you may want to know this is where I do my live streaming over here on Twitch. Just doing a couple of specials around Christmas, streaming to both YouTube as well. I had a feeling we might have been about to see that. Maybe this way as well. Quartz, I always feel like I have to collect the quartz no matter what. It's just such a cool block. I'm like, I want that. I feel like iron's one you don't collect. Once you got your iron farm up and running, you see some iron ore, you're like, don't care. Maybe I'll feel the same way once I get a quartz farm. But right now, I am the quartz farm. Yo, Powerballs, thank you for gifting a sub to that one noob. Very much appreciated. Thank you for gifting a sub to a first-time viewer. That's super cool. Your niece has got tickets for Doja Cat and 9 Inch Nails for Christmas. So jealous. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And another one as well. Bool at home, you've been gifted a sub as well. Be sure to say thanks in the chat. Powerballs, thank you again so much for supporting our community. Appreciate it, my dude. You collect iron to use the raw iron block. Yeah, it's a good building texture, actually, isn't it? I mean, that's the point. Like, there is a reason to collect them, which is nice. And there you go. We found some blackstone. Not bad. Not bad. Now we just got to mine it. Does lava flow to the lowest point? If it did, it might be useful to, like, leave a little something like that when you're mining around so it would flow to that point. Rather than flow in your face, you know? Because I'm looking out for those lava particles. I might see them here and there. Ho, 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 says Vernon. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Welcome. You're always inspired by the Hermit's creativity. Stuck in a bed with the flu, wondering if there are Bedrock-compatible Patreon servers available to join. R1 used to be, and I don't know what the status of it is. I don't think it is currently. But I think you'll have to do a little bit of research there, because I wouldn't really know. But it is possible. I know it's possible. We've done it in the past. That's one of the perks of doing this. And now that I think about it, didn't I just get a new pick today? Also, I want to make a netherite spear. So while I'm here, might it be smart to try and get a little bit more of that stuff? The way that I've been doing it is like this. There's a specific height you're supposed to do this at, but it's a good way of like revealing ancient debris in the area. Because you're just exposing a lot of blocks with a swing of the pick. Riffraff says, "Okay, I'll ask another time." Oh, what was the question? Why 14 along chunk borders? No, I don't think it was that low down, or unless it was a case of like I was lower than I thought I was. We're at Y8. Maybe it is 14, but the chunk borders thing is a myth. That's not true at all. And funny story for you. Down at the bottom of my base, maybe one day you'll see it in the world download. There is like an area where I went mining for diamonds, right, in the overworld. And I did the chunk border method. Now, this isn't to say the chunk border method means you get less diamonds, but I think I got like 4 or 5 blocks, not patches, but blocks. And Oh my goodness me. There is a big network. I can even show it to you because I've got free cam. I'll show you in a little bit. I mined a heck of a lot of blocks and just found like three, 4, 5 diamond blocks. Like, it was ridiculous. And I found those ones pretty much straight away and then never found any more. And I can't believe it. I can barely believe how much mining I did to be that unlucky. And I did it all on chunk borders. Make of that what you like. Nukes1 coming in with gifted subs, my dude. Thank you for your generosity. We got Rim, Not No Good, Molly, B. Denny, Mighty Marauder, and Keep Calm and Carry On Napping. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to say thanks in the chat, and thank you so much, Nux. Really appreciate that. Oh, did I get into a band called The? We talked about them the other day. I never listened to them, literally because they were called The. I didn't like all the bands, and then there was one called The, and I was like, I definitely don't like them. Can't say I ever listened to them properly or anything. That's just who I was then. I was just like, nope. Don't like this indie stuff. Who knows, may have missed out on some amazing music. Fell down. How much Blackstone would we get? Kind of not enough. Kind of not enough. So one thing we could do in this tunnel is head back in the other direction, and then I could find out for sure what the height I was streaming at was. Hidden Mythic says, I don't know all he's streaming. I am streaming on Twitch. It should be really easy to find my stuff, right? I mean, you can go to my link tree, but like in every video description, there's like links, you know? Just gotta have a little browse. You can go to xisumavoid.com as well. There are like several places you can go to. Matrix Explained! Question, mate. Is this a full-time job or just a hobby? My son has started practicing videoing himself, but is it a legitimate way to make a living, or is the money making poor? What is your advice for a long time streamer for kids? Great question, great question. This is my job. It's been my job for about 13 years. I did it for a year before it became my job, and I got into doing this because of the love of making videos and playing this particular game. Still playing it all these years later, as you can see. I didn't know it'd be a job. Back then, no one even really conceived of this stuff as being, you know, a job, work, whatever you want to call it. It just happens today that, or maybe yesterday, or maybe a couple of days ago. But anyway, today I watched this video that was posted by Veritasium. Really great science communication channel that I've been following for a very long time. I found them, you know, pretty much not long after they probably started their channel. 2011, 2012, been watching ever since. And the question is like him talking about retirement, but really really the video's a bit more of a leg up for him to just explain how the channel evolved and changed over time, how he got into doing it, how it's changed and where he's at right now. We got Lack of Content coming in with a raid. Thank you so much. And Undie Man Streams, thank you for your Prime subscription. Much appreciated and welcome. So this guy was talking about the history of his channel, and I thought it was super interesting because the other day in my stream when talking about Veritasium, I had a message from a viewer, and it felt like they were trying to ask that question in a way where it's like, there's a bit of controversy here. What do you think about it, right? Because there's an investment firm that has like teamed up with Veritasium to help the channel grow and evolve it over time and stuff, right? Now, I think terms like investment in this day and age are a little bit loaded. I think people think like big money is all negative and stuff, and there can be, you know, different types of investment. And as he described it, the firm that invested in him shared the same interests as like science communication and getting people to, you know, use their critical thinking. So there's more of like an alignment of ideas because, you know, companies are run by people and people can have more motivations than just shareholder profit or whatever. But, you know, before we go down a whole other avenue of discussion there, this loaded question about the investment firm behind the channel, when I heard it, it didn't surprise me because I'd seen the shift in how they run the channel. I've seen new people come into it. The quality of the videos has improved, and it's clear that it went from one person doing the channel to like a team. That was all clear to me. And then the timing of Veritasium posting this video makes me wonder if it was a subtle way to reply to some controversy, as if this person was asking me this question because some drama had rippled through the internet, and you know, this was like a talking topic that people were having, and it was a way for Veritasium to answer it. I'm not sure. If anyone could shed light on that, I'd appreciate it. He did get brought by private equity and didn't disclose it until got exposed, says Meatball Peanuts. See, I'm not sure that he had to disclose it, right? Like, is it okay not to disclose it? I mean, in my mind, it's really up to him if he wants to tell the audience or not, right? I think, again, because there's like a lot of negativity associated with money these days, it can be seen as like private equity being all bad, whereas sometimes investment vehicles, you know, they invest in things for, you know, reasons beyond just making profit. Again, like, people are tied up in this as well. There can be people inside of a business, who are there for good, you know? Who are there to try and have a positive impact on the world. I don't know if that's the case with this investment firm. It's just certainly was presented that way in the video that I saw today. Isn't it the Veritasium's investment in firm Jane Street? It was banned from trading in India because of manipulating their own market. I wouldn't know. I'm here asking the questions. The controversy is the investment firm, but they've objectively upgraded the quality of content with a larger team. Okay, so it sounds like maybe it's the investment firm that has some issues attached to it. Because, yeah, what I've seen is just, you know, Veritasium channel has become so much better. I mean, it was always an incredible channel, but now I feel like these days it's really found an incredible way of creating great content. And I'll be fair, like, I miss the kind of like one person doing it charm. There's always something special about that. But, you know, things have to evolve and change over time. What's the answer to the question? What's your advice for a young streamer life choice-wise? Yeah, I haven't forgotten about it. And maybe that's a great way to bring us back to it. So, Anonymous, thank you so much for gifted subs. That gay guy, Withered XT, Tenor Vitamine, Zach the God, No Root Beer. Y'all been gifted subs? Be sure to say thanks in the chat. My advice for young people these days, when it comes to streaming and YouTube, is that it can kind of look glamorous. It can kind of look like you're just playing games, people are watching, you're having a great time, and it's your job. And all of that could well and truly be true. But you have to understand that the motivation behind someone like myself, and I probably a lot of the Hermits, very similar degrees of the same story here, is that there's passion in forming how we first like joined this space, right? Passion for a game, passion for making videos. It wasn't, I never wanted to be a YouTuber. I didn't know it was a thing. I just started making videos, right? I was just joining in with this cool thing that was happening. This right here, by the way, will be the Y level that we look for ancient debris at. And that is 15. I think some of you said that in chat. So this is about like a passion project that then turns into a job. And that is what you want to do as a young person. You want to find your passion and follow it. And maybe, if you're lucky, it turns into a job. But if at any point, you know, dreaming of this being a job is your motivation to do it, that's, I think, a recipe for disaster. Because the other side of doing this full-time and being a YouTuber is that you're kind of crazy. You're kind of insane. You work ridiculous hours. I mean, these days, I think I have a healthy balance between work and the rest of life. And again, work can be a little bit of a strange word when we're talking about playing a game that you love and being creative with it. Which I will point out, I'm not a gamer who sort of games for their own entertainment. I'm a creative. If I wasn't doing this, I would probably be making music. I wouldn't be playing games in my time. So yeah, my advice is kind of like it should be more about passion and not this platform. Now, this platform is obviously a great way to communicate information, and if you do something in the world, there's a variety of different ways you get to share it. If you're into music, it's, you know, these days is very much putting your music out there for streaming. But you might be into something totally different that has a different medium. If your medium overlaps with YouTube, that's okay. But like making videos and sharing what you're passionate about should be your driving motivation to do something. Because if your motivation is this idea of making it or making it into a job, you will sign yourself up for a very difficult, grindy job. Because I tell you, like what I've done over the years would be hell for someone who didn't want to do this, because you sacrifice so much of your time for it, and that comes from like being, you know, crazy about it, basically. And I think, you know, the maybe the downside of me explaining this is that sometimes then people go off and convince themselves they're passionate about something and that they'll be a YouTuber if they do this. It's like, it's really got to be all about the passion first. Finding out what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about making Minecraft videos and you love making them, then go ahead and do it. If you then make it on YouTube, great. If you don't, also great, because you were just doing that thing that you're passionate about. And I think sometimes people might like convince themselves they really want to do this when maybe they're more thinking about how it looks from the outside, right? You got to remember, like, all those numbers are just numbers on a screen. You got to turn up and do this stuff, and if you don't enjoy that experience, those numbers will be meaningless. I hope that answered your question. And young people today, don't they just, they love YouTube, they want to be YouTubers. It's kind of scary, you know? Like, my nephew often tells me he wants to be a YouTuber like me. But as soon as I start asking him, like, do you want to make videos, do this, do that? He's like, I don't know. I just want 1 million subscribers. And it's like, you know, that's dangerous right there. That's not what you want. Ooh, is that like a lava block just at the level below? Dodge that bullet. Dodge that one. You do it just for fun while you're job seeking, says Blooming. That sounds perfectly fine to me. That was a great answer to the guy's question. Thank you. Happy to answer, my dude. If you're passionate, it will reflect on the quality of content. You can tell when someone's doing it for the money based on the love of the game. Yes, it can often be quite obvious when someone's pursuing YouTube more than the thing they're doing on it. Solo video production is a whole job and a half itself. You don't already like it. It can weigh you down so fast, says LT Noobslayer. I had an experience that was like kind of going in the opposite direction, actually. I'm always reflecting on this, like, oh, whoopsie, post-pandemic period of like going through the pandemic and changing as a creator. And, you know, you find little new insights the more you think about it every now and then. Oh, look, there's some right there. Didn't even spot that. And like, when I was watching the Veritasium video and he was talking about scaling up and turning into a team, and I was reminding how like I felt a pressure to do that, and it wasn't an inherent thing like I want to expand this and make a team. It was more like this is what YouTubers are supposed to do now. And I kind of brought into that idea. I was listening to a lot of podcasts with like businessy folks on the YouTube end talking about where YouTube is going and what you got to do to grow and stay relevant. And these ideas are actually like kind of like harmful to me. And this season of Hermitcraft, like, things have really fit into place where I think something that extended from that was like AI, getting you thinking about using AI to edit your videos, and like, you know, they're all talking about productivity and all this kind of stuff, and like trying to dabble with that and just being like, oh, I don't like this, has led me to realize that I just like doing it myself, you know. And so in the past I've dabbled with trying to like scale up and build a team and multiple channels, and it just wasn't for me, right? But it's like a pretty similar example actually of like how I did it because I thought that's the thing that you're doing now as a YouTuber, and it wasn't me. Dang it, I need to place this a little closer, please. So that means put that there, then that one there, then break this one here, and then boop, like that. There we go. Yo, Powerballs again, my dude. What can I say? Thank you so... That is incredible. Just an absolute massive sub bomb right there. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for supporting our community. That's wonderful. And we got Becca coming in with the gifted subs as well. Goodness me. Goodness me, thank you so much. What can I say? We also had Joe Hills coming in with a raid, and Lavender Minty, thank you for the prime. Well, you just had so many gifted subs. Look, if you're in chat and you've been gifted some, come and check. Say thanks, of course. And let me tell you about the perks of being a subscriber here. For the benefit of our community, we made some changes where any type of subscriber here, prime, regular, or gifted, can become a member of our Discord server and our Minecraft server. So if you are looking for a community to be a part of, you've just been gifted a sub, you can hook it up, you can join us for a month and find out if it's your kind of community or not. Make some friends, explore an amazing world full of wonderful builds, become a part of it, like whatever floats your boat. So if you're interested, ask in the chat. Look at that, we got it. And big thanks to Joe. I see you and Badger in chat. Oh, hey, I know that guy. Thank you for the raid again, my dude. Hope you had a great Christmas. And there we go. We've got 4 pieces. That's all I want. I'm heading out of here. I'm heading out. I'm alive. I made it out alive. Out of the never. Thank goodness. Sending my once in a while message to show I'm not a bot. A bot would say that, though. And a bot could send it once in a while, if you think about it. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't agree with turn your passion into a job. Nowadays, I tried that and the job destroyed my passion. Nowadays, I make sure to keep the few passions I have far away from money and all the BS. That's a fair enough point. It's not a one-to-one equation, right? A job could ruin your passion or change it. It's very true. A lot of things in life, you know, are nuanced and not black and white, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. And really, you have to, you know, turn on your thinking brain, self-reflect, listen to other people's ideas, don't take them verbatim, you know, work on your critical thinking skills, work on your, like, emotional maturity, and be able to self-reflect and figure out, like, what you are about, because that is a very valid point, that you may have a passion, you know? I think I guess what I'm saying, let's try and avoid that blaze, and what sounds like oh my god! Oh no, it's coming up the... Oh no, it's not. I thought that was a clunky wither skeleton. I was like, I want to smash that skeleton. I want to get a skull, but no. Yeah, it's a very good point that it doesn't always translate that way. For me, the transition, it was like, here I am doing this thing that I love, right? But I'm also at the beginning of this new adventure. When I started, YouTube was different. It was mostly a PC thing. It wasn't apps and on YouTube TV. It wasn't portable. And there were less people. It was more of a competitive space for the creator. Like, you had more opportunity. And you were just at the front of something new and interesting. I think if you join YouTube today, you're now in a far more matured environment. And so it's not quite the same thing in terms of opportunity and being at the beginning something novel. You actually love my base, says Green Alien. I'm glad you do. And I think it becoming my job happened in a particular way where it wasn't just that it became my job, it was better than the job I was currently working. It didn't take long for, I mean, I was working, like, I was earning less than minimum wage because of how laws and stuff work in the European Union. These protect the workers laws, they absolutely ruined the hours that we were allowed to work, and basically just rinsed us. It's hard to describe, but you know, like, we got the bad end of the deal. Guys does something that was supposed to be good for us, right? So I went from, you know, having minimum wage to less than minimum wage to then YouTube making more than the less than minimum wage that I was on. And because I couldn't work full-time hours, I could do 2 at once. So I kind of just had this, like, kind of like a perfect storm of elements. I mean, you know, and finding myself in Hermitcraft at that time, like, there was just a lot of things that went very well for me. And so that transition was part of the excitement. It was like, oh my God, you can make a living from this? Like, this could actually be a thing. It was less of a like, hey, I'm passionate about this and I want to turn it into a job. It was just a happy accident. And so the transition of it becoming my career and how I make a living was very normal. But not normal. Sorry, it was very novel, opposite of normal. But the two kind of just went together. It just worked, right? And I liked it. It was exciting. Now these days it's just normal because I've done it for this many years. It might all change. It's always possible that it can change, you know. We're all at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm. That can change things. I'm not too pedantic about that though, to be honest. I think the YouTube algorithm is more like a mirror to what people want to watch. And if you become irrelevant and your views go down or whatever, it's sad, it's unfortunate, but I think you got to take a bit of ownership, and perhaps it's more like, well, maybe people just aren't interested in what you're doing anymore. I think ancient debris is in the nether box. I'm going to open up my thing and check while I'm waffling here, just to make sure I put this in the right place. So, you know, it can all change. Again, that Veritasium video really struck a nerve with me. He talked about that. He talked about how as a creator, you kind of never know what's around the corner. You keep going, and you hope it doesn't end. And then he's in a position where he's thinking about, okay, now that I've done it for 15 years, now I get to think about, when does this end? Like, on my terms, which I think is fascinating. I've tried to shift my mindset into a place where I just take away all of the stress of thinking about those things and just, like, enjoy the moment because it's still here, you know? That's the only way I think I can do it. But there may be a time that comes where, you know, you have to hang it up or whatever, because things will change. And if I'm still here doing it after this long, keep enjoying it, because, you know, it's almost like a little mini miracle, I think. I cannot talk, and I cannot do two things at once a lot of the time. I'm just trying to find my little set of pictures. I found them now. Where did I keep ancient debris? Was it in valuables? It wasn't. So it was probably in the nether chest. The nether chest. No, I didn't keep it in nether. Maybe I never bothered, because why would you carry ancient debris around with you? It's one less that you get to use. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, was it in ores? It was in ores. It did have a place. It did have a place. I could have just looked at them all by one, but I thought maybe I didn't do it that way this time. That one there. I feel like that one maybe should be color-coded a bit different. So we have 2 in there. Now we got 6. That means that I can make a netherite spear. And I think upgrades that pick. Or do you need 4 for a ingot? I think you need 4. Do I have any tips on getting back into Minecraft, says Blue at Home? Depends on what type of player you are. For the type of player that I am, it would be about focusing in on my creative goals and figuring out like where the motivation is to, you know, get into a project and do it really well. Did you guys know people born on September 25th of 2000 are going to be 25.25 on December 25, 2025? I mean, that was yesterday, so like, no, they're not. They're now 25.25. What's 320? I think they're 25.253. That's my guess. 25.2536. I think I might have got that right. Probably not, though. Not sure if I did the math there. Any questions, chat, on this topic? I saw a really nice one, but as I was reading the other one, it scrolled off the screen. The Ender chest system is really interesting. Thank you. I mean, if you watch my episodes this season of Hermitcraft, season... I was about to say 9, season 11, you will get like a pretty good description of it all, because I decided to run that through again, because I think last season I didn't really explain it. Hey, there's my buddy! Oh, of course you'd be near the note block. You crazy little LA. Come back here, son. Oh, that's it. No, stay there. No! Oh! It's gonna... Oh! What are we doing? Oh, he loves EFO. That's what's going on. You love EFO, don't... Oh, you were just this one! It's that one that broke. We don't know where this one went. R.I.P. that one. R.I.P. that one. Who doesn't love EFO? I mean, EFO is the GOAT, basically, right? He's the GOAT. It is. I like. It's kind of funny. It's like, EFO is literally, I think, like the Let's Player that every other hermit actually like watches and loves every episode. That guy is just, I think, has the most like purest connection to like the game, if that makes sense. You know, I think a lot of us obviously love this game, and then we have different ways of presenting it. But Efo just has this kind of like raw directness between like his intrigue and his way of like sharing, and I think that's super endearing and what's kept people interested in what he's doing for so long, right? Which is a tricky thing to do, I think. Keep people watching for that long. Tricky thing to do. Let's go. I've been wanting to work on this side. Let's keep extending it down, I think, that way. Let's go, Tesco. That's what we'll do. Everyone has had an obsession at one point or another, lol. Yeah, I wouldn't use the word obsession. I've always very much enjoyed his videos, and when you see one, it's always like, it's EFO time. What are we gonna see this time? What are we gonna learn? What's up? I always get inspired by his episodes as well. I'm always like getting my notepad out, and it's making me think about things. That's true of other hermits, though. I think, to be fair, I think whenever I just watch some other Minecraft content, it will do that. But very much with EFO, and whenever I choose to watch the other hermits this season, there's definitely been some of that. Oh, I don't have the variants in there. Okay, let's make it all from scratch. So you lose like you use 8 for 1. I need deep slate. We went all that way, and I didn't get more deep slate. Kinda got a little bit, I think you could say. I mean, that's 2 panels. I literally got enough for 2 panels of that. Fair enough. With this stuff, we'll go like that. Oh, wow. I'm making a hash of this. Can I have one of those? Thank you very much. I've just decided to put it, you know, in the middle of these chests. I don't know why, but this is where my base of operations is now. So I think it's like you want 56 and then 8 of those. That'll make a lot of sections. And then we want the andesite. Oh, I got that. That's just andesite walls all the way. And then with this stuff, we want... probably like that. And then that on top. Let's go build out some more of this wall, I think. Ah, I'm going to put those in. Already done a fair bit of this, apparently. I heard in LA it was just that one there, wasn't it? Hey, X, have you ever thought about making a mod consortium of sorts to develop and add vanilla plus mechanics to the game? No. Well, you know, I thought or been vaguely inspired at one point in time, but no, I wouldn't go through the rigmarole of that, especially considering I'm not a modder. That would just be, I think, probably not a good use of my time. What? Wait, are you mixing the colors or texturing? Neither, really. This is just the old classic, I need a wall, those blocks look nice together. Is about the, it's about as far as this one goes, I think. We also need to light it up correctly. And that uses the soul lantern, right? Again, I was just in a place where we could have got materials for that, but of all the ones I thought about, this wasn't a part of the equation. So it'd be coal plus some sticks and some soul sand. Let's grab them. Let's grab some of those. That's probably way too many sticks. Yeah. 2 stacks. Well, I guess we are crafting torches with reason. With a reason, should I say. Right, now, crafting table. I feel like I should have one more in there. I don't know where it went. Gonna make another. Guys, I'm doing my storage system. Where would you put campfires with wood products, with workstations? They're not, but still. I'd put them in light sources. In fact, that's where I put mine. Speaking of which, like, I think you'd see them in there. Yeah. And you can categorize them together a little bit. Oh, I've just jumped the... Oh, I've just jumped the gun, haven't I? I've just jumped the gun. And made loads of torches. I'm sure I'll need them again at some point. How many do I want here? I had some in the other chest a second ago. There we go, some there. I jumped the gun. I jumped the gun! Ah! Oh, the gun, it got jumped! Why do I keep saying that? Well, there you go. But I do get to fill this back up, I guess. And then fill that one up. And then go back round the back with it. Oh, yeah. That's not how that bit goes. I'll put one there for that area. Yeah, we get to punch those off. They're not supposed to be there. This is the lighting for this area now. We want to have that fine control over the lightning. Lighting? I said lightning. Saying the wrong words. It's like I've been streaming for hours or something. It's like my brain just can't process it. What do you want to talk about next, X? A chat, sorry. Not my type says X. Do you watch anime? I don't watch anime for anime's sake. I'll watch an anime if it's a good show or whatever, but I'm not really into the whole cartoon thing. I mean, I love stuff like South Park and what's it, Rick and Morty or whatever, but like not because they're cartoons. You know, it's like it's just in my mind it's just a format for a story. Maybe I should get a shovel. Yes, South Park X Nose Peak. I mean, South Park is just like the thing of my generation, right? It's just, that's what we grew up with. It's classic. Agreed, animation is a medium, not a genre, says Yoda Dragon. Yeah, you kind of got it there. Like, I see it more as a medium than a genre. Yeah, that's the way of putting it. Queen of the South is good. Isn't that a band? Do I watch Stranger Things? If so, you're up to date with the episodes. I watched all of the pre-Christmas ones. I forget when the new lot come out, but I got to say, having had a bit of time to reflect on how this season has gone so far, it was so heavy on. Oh my god, what do they call it? What's the thing where you explain everything to the audience for a character or through dialogue? Exposition. It was so exposition heavy that I've been thinking on what's happened so far, and it's like kind of not a lot. Like, it doesn't feel that gratifying on reflection this season so far. But like, you know, the second half will probably be really great. But I'd definitely say pretty confidently, I think it's the weakest season so far. But we've only seen like half of it, and then the finale is staggered as well. It's actually out now. Oh, okay. I'm not going to watch it just yet. I'm going to finish watching Breaking Bad. Then I'll watch Stranger Things. Then I might watch Better Call Saul. Or I'm thinking about getting HBO so I can watch some South Park again. I think that's on HBO. Like Paramount. Oh no, maybe actually they're different. Yeah, I kind of really been into comedy lately, and there's probably some good stuff on there. Some classics like South Park. And then, you know, you got The Wire, The Sopranos. I mean, I've got The Wire on Blu-ray, but like, streaming is so convenient. How I watched Prison Break. I watched it back in the day. It was one of those like always up in the ante shows, and it was all right. But hey, Leah says favorite movie. Mine is The Dead Poets Society. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when people ask me like, what are your favorite movies? I always like struggle to give a proper answer because I don't like putting stuff in lists. But you know, to be fair, the Dead Poets Society was one of my, when I was a kid, like youth, teenager, whatever. One of my first movies I would have called one of my favorites, and still to this day I love it. And I kind of felt like I should watch that one again. I love it so much. It's such a beautiful movie. You remember when Prison Break was on every channel, every day on Channel 5? Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, Prison Break was kind of like, it really roped people in, but I'm not sure if it stands the test of time. It was always just that constant upping of the ante, and I feel like other shows did that better later. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Indeed, man. What a tragic loss. What a tragic loss right there. Loved his movies, especially as a kid. He was such a great actor for like kids' movies as well, right? Captain, my Captain, yeah. Oh, I've got to watch it again. It's such a beautiful movie. When your fears list includes lists. Yeah. I guess that I get what you're saying, yeah. It's just that, like, I feel like, you know when people say, what's your favorite this or what's your favorite that? That, like, however I answer that is, in my mind, it's probably not as interesting. Like, I feel like there's questions that you could ask that go deeper into a subject. But also, I never like doing it the disservice of just happening to forget or not remember it at that point in time, because the way our brains work is not that we carry our favorite stuff around with us 24/7. It probably is when you're younger. When you're younger, you identify so much with stuff that you like that you can probably like name all your favorite things really quickly. But then as time goes by, you enjoy more and more things in life, and your knowledge expands, and then it starts to get a bit messy. You know, it gets a bit messy up there. Right, we've cleared out this space pretty well, haven't we? I think we want to place those andesite walls next. Get these in. So this whole thing's a little further along at the very least. Have I ever seen the Grand Budapest Hotel? Yeah, I have. Isn't that made by... It's either like a pair of brothers or a director who has a very distinct style. I think it might be the latter. I don't think it's a pair of brothers that direct together. Could be mistaken, but yeah, I'm aware of that movie. And there's like a lot of others that are similar visually. Wes Anderson, there you go. Wes Anderson movies, that's the one. Yeah. Very particular style of movie. If you're into it, there's like a lot more that are like that. They're great movies. I'm not like massively hot on the style, but like they're really good stuff. Okay. Gonna leave some holes over here. And then things get a bit messy again. What gets messy about this area is I got all of these torches, so now I need to go in here and like move them further away, right? I need to like go all the way down here maybe. And not interfere with our wall. That one might be interfering a little bit. Put it a little bit lower. And then we removed the one that was around here. And then around here you got the problem again. So you got this one on the end. That's fine. It happens. But then when I remove that, that's okay. Then up here, right? Got staircases to get around. I've got to figure this bit out. I think for now, it's a case of like locking this bit in and then digging away that. There you go. Look at this. We don't want this. Oh, and now it's hard to see. LD, you gotta go. It's taken you a long time to get back into Minecraft and streams ever since Technoblade, but you really enjoyed this. See you next time. RIP Technoblade. Thanks for tuning in. We had someone else asking a little while ago, and then we got distracted about getting back into Minecraft. I'm not sure if I really answered that question or not. I think I just said like it's about like finding your inspirations and stuff, right? This one here is a bit of a pain in the bum. I think the way we're going to deal with this is slabs, because we kind of want to keep this whole thing here. Probably don't need all of it. There we go. I want to keep this whole thing here a little tighter. There's not much else I can do other than cover it up. And yeah, okay. So we're gonna. That's gonna be the wall, and this is the bit that gets torn down. This just got tricky. Because there's our entrance, right? I guess it can get torn down. I'm going to leave it for that bit there and then tear it down from here. And then you get to see some of this. Hopefully the light levels there don't start messing with stuff. Your personal inspiration to play Minecraft is to bring it into reality, stories that are in my head. I mean, that sounds like a really great, strong connection. That sounds like a kind of thing that like Scar might do. And it's, for me, it's very, very tricky. Like, that's not kind of how my brain works, but I really appreciate it, if that makes sense. Like, I can see how that can be a great motivation for doing stuff and telling a story with the game. Everything Everywhere All at Once is easily your favourite modern film. I remember being so genuinely touched by it that 10 minutes from leaving after the theatre, I was so overwhelmed I started crying. Not from sadness, just overwhelmed and impressed. I've said this before, so I sound like a broken record. I went to see that movie, really excited for it, and unfortunately I came away pretty disappointed because I've seen that movie before. That's like a type of movie that has been done like a bunch of times before it, and when I was young, like, those movies blew my mind. They were so like artsy and out there and gave you so much like to delve into and think about. And then when I saw that one, I was like, I kind of seen this before. It's and then I found myself being a lot more nitpicky of all its shortcomings and stuff. So I'm glad you enjoyed it though. Like, it's a type of movie that I think, if you find it and you're into that, it's great. But you know, like, it's not particularly original, and you know, movies like that have been around before that do all the crazy stuff, you know. Which movie is it like? You know, that's the thing. I can't particularly remember specifically other ones like that. I remember like a movie like Donnie Darko had some wild philosophical stuff in it. But there's definitely something last time I rattled my brain that was very similar to it. But it's like that type of, you know, just like reality stretching, mind bending movie. They exist. And I think one of the problems with them is that you don't remember them that well, because although they're like really impressive in the way they get you thinking, and you know, there's not a lot of underlying glue to it, is about the best way I could word it. At least that's my impression of it. Yo, root beer floating away. Thank you for subscribing, my dude. Thanks for supporting the channel here. Surrealism, says Captain Jolly Rogers. Yeah. So if you went and looked up Being John Malkovich, great example. Train Spotting, another one that's got elements of it. I've definitely seen one that was way more in the area of that movie, but yeah, Captain Jolly Rogers, surrealism. So if you went and looked up surrealist movies and then maybe trace the line back into the past a little bit, you're probably going to come across some that are quite similar to that movie. I know I've seen some. And again, I think the reason why they don't come straight to mind is because the surrealism is a very powerful experience when you haven't seen it before. But then the underlying elements of story, like a lot of us are, the things we remember as humans quite often are things like story and character, and less of that surrealism is something that sticks with us. Like, people love a good story. And as much as surrealism stuff can be interesting, they tend not to be like the sticky things for us humans. X and threes, thank you for the prime. Very much appreciated. Who's heard of predictive programming? I feel like that's something I might have heard of. Like, I like listening to things about programming. Kind of like when we were talking about chemistry and physics and math earlier, like programming's like adjacent to that in some ways. It's called the absurdist genre. Again, another word that might help you find what I'm talking about. Oh, Joe hasn't seen Donnie Darko. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a really cool movie to share. It'll definitely get you all into a discussion, that's for sure, because like, after you see it, everyone's going to have an opinion about what happens in that movie. That's another one on my list to rewatch, actually. I'm going to make a note. I want to add Dead Poet Society and Donnie Darko. I think I want to watch them next year, you know? It's going to be my thing. Does anyone struggle with recommendations to other people? It takes me years to get around to them because maybe I don't want people to let people down if they don't like it. I think Badger just shows that you're actually thinking about why you're recommending it to someone. Like a lot of people will go, X, you should watch Superman movie, or X, oh, you should totally watch the Marvel movies. And I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know me. I'd rather step into a bear trap. Like, sometimes recommendations are just, I like this thing, you should like it too. And sometimes it's like I want to find something, I want to tell you something that I think you would like. And it's that latter one that's harder, I think. So yeah, where's my phone? I'm gonna make a note for the old Dead Poets Society on my watch list, and Donnie Darko, I think next year. And I'm talking about next year because I'm taking a break from YouTube. I won't be streaming again until next year. Gonna take some time off, some proper time off. Top of my watch list now is Dead Poets Society and Donnie Darko. Gonna enjoy those in the new year, I think. This is going to be the end of my stream today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you had a great time. I'm going to look for someone to raid. Thank you, Neil, for coming by and hanging out with me for a few hours here. I think... Wait, is Joe still live? I got rate... Wait, this thing just hasn't updated. Sometimes you have to refresh the page to see what's going on. It's got all the raid info from earlier. Anyway, it's got channels. I'm just going to send you over to the top one. So enjoy a random channel with the rest of your Boxing Day. And whatever you're doing, have a great one. Thank you all for the amazing support today. I'll see you again in the new year. Let's get that raid rolling. It's rolling, 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 rolling. What? Yeah, that's it from me, people. Thank you so much. Enjoy the raid. Take care. And have a great new year. Bye-bye.